Don't you notice how I get quiet when there's no one else around? Me and you and awkward silence. Don't you dare look at me that way. I don't need reminders of how you don't feel the same. Oh, the burning pain. Listening to you harp on about some new soulmate. She's so perfect, blah, blah, blah. Oh, how I wish you'd wake up one day. Run to me, confess your love. At least just let me say that when I talk to you, won't you bed walks right through and shoots right out through my heart. And I sound like a loon, but don't you feel it to confess I loved you from the start? What's a girl to do?
How you doing? Chad, it's so good to see you. Oh my God. Telling you today.
That when I talk to you, won't you bear right through and shoot right out through my heart?
How are you doing? Yes, I love you from the start. You know, Chad, it's been so long, so I just need to say something. You know, I loved you from the start. How are we doing, everyone? It's good to see you! Bro, a hype train before stream even begins? I'm saying? Oh my goodness! I've been gone for 2 days, but it feels like a lifetime without you, chat. How are we? I gotta say, thank you to Rise for 14 months and Keo for 23. Goddamn, girl. One more month, Keo, and it'll have been 2 goddamn years that we've known each other. More than that, I think. Goddamn, girlfriend. Hello, who do we have here today? Oh my God. We got Roxy in before chat. Oh my God, Roxy. We got Flashbox here. We got, oh my God, my dancing queen, Annie. Okay, can we just take a moment to pause here? Annie, you were in a tornado yesterday. Your brother was in a tornado yesterday. I was way too worried about you. Everything's okay, right? Okay. Deja! That is a very interesting looking emote. Got Keo with first and second, as always, a little sniper. Oh my God. Uh-oh, why is my Twitch chat not working? I think we're good. That was so wild. My Twitch chat was just like connecting you to it. But seriously, thank you for the hype train before stream even began. If you want to contribute, chat, I mean, I wouldn't say no. Oh, so happy to see some surgery went well. It did, Left. It went very well, actually. You can see my Naruto wrist wraps. I mean, if we're being real, chat, it is kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the little brown wavy texture. I don't know, it's kind of cute. I can take it off soon, though. Surgery twins? Oh my God, we are? Oh my God, you and me forever? Michael Huff in the YouTube chat saying first. Well, first over there, bud. How you doing, Michael? It's good to see you. You know, living? I'll take living. You know what? If you're in the middle of a tornado and you just give me living as a response, I'll fucking take that. I have power and internet, so I'm happy. I'm also the 1% that has power.
So you forgot to add in the space in the new ping roll. Try again, dink donk.
He's good with technology, everyone. Damn it, there's a space? Fuck. God damn it. I'm trying to be good and create good announcements, and here I am already messing up. This is terrible. Okay, social alerts, Twitch, space stream. Damn it. Damn it. You know, at least he tries. You know, at least he tries, chat. All right, so for those of you who don't know, I had a surgery. Relatively minor one, carpal tunnel surgery. I'm gonna go into the surgery a bit, so if you don't want to hear surgery information, I don't mind you, you know, stepping out. But we'll definitely be going back in about 10-15 minutes to doing reaction to the Final Fantasy 1.0 doc, which I've never seen before. So if you get squeamish around surgery talk, I do not mind if you mute me for a bit. But thank you for the sub, Flash. 14 months for you as well. God damn, dude. God damn. And you know what? I would expect nothing else but to mock me with your sub alert. I'll take it. Last time I was in the ER, I got a drip, the plastic thing with the needle. Ugh. It was pink and purple. Oh, okay. My Biehearts was so happy about such a small thing. That is really cute, Lef. I'm not gonna lie. Like, being in a hospital, having something not be surgical and just being cute is nice. Actually, I can show. I don't know if my camera can pick it up, but I'll try to show off what the doctor did. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Oh, wait. There, you see that? The doctor came up to me before surgery and was like, all right, I'm gonna mark you up where we're gonna do the surgery, and then I'm gonna give you a little smiley face. Give you a little smiley face on my arm. That was really cute. That was really cute. That helped. Neo, hello. Gonna ping it to make sure it actually works. Don't mind me. That's fair. That's fair. Sheesh. God damn. All right. We're gonna talk about my surgery, chat. We're gonna talk about my surgery. I'm gonna put on some relaxing music in the background of it so that maybe it'll help y'all, you know, not feel intense about it.
Better allergy
How do I
for better boyfriending.
I have
Live Claritin
completely
Clear.
reinstalled my ad block 3 times. At this point, I think YouTube is just gonna get me. I'm so resistant to getting YouTube Premium, but like, fuck, they really are just owning ad blocker right now. All right, we got some calm music. All right, chat. Last warning, I'm gonna talk about my surgery here. Surgery's not happening. The ping will go down when it's over. Warning just in case. Thank you, Flash. Yep, so we're talking about surgery right now. So, the surgery I had performed was a carpal tunnel surgery. Something that is relatively routine, very non-invasive, not a bad thing at all. So don't worry about anything like that. However, I was awake for the whole thing because it's such a small deal surgery. It's laparoscopic. I can drive after. So in order to get this surgery done, the doctor came in, which one more warning, came in with a needle this big. So the syringe was this big. There was about that much of a vial of painkiller in it. And you're like, well, what do you mean painkiller? Like Oxy or something? No, it's fucking Novocaine. Like when you go to the dentist. Like, you ever been to the dentist to get a tooth drill or something and they just jam a needle in there and squirt you and you get all numb? That's what they did to my arm. So even though the pain wasn't there, I still had all the feeling through the numbness. So it's like, you know, you go into the surgery expecting maybe that you won't have any mental trauma from it. But, oh my gosh. So he comes out with this needle and he's like, you're gonna feel a slight prick. And I'm like, bro, you're the slight prick right now. Excuse you. I know what, you don't have to sugarcoat it. It's a huge fucking needle going into my arm. Tell it like it is. Like, hey, this is gonna hurt a bit. So yeah, hit me with that big injection needle. And I just see him like jamming the plunger because it's so much painkiller they're injecting into my arm. So it's just like, and I'm like, okay, that's not that bad. He then pulls out the needle and I see only half of the liquid's gone. And I go, bro hits me in my palm. You ever have a needle go into your palm right here before, chat? It's weird. It's weird. It hurts. You're like, oh yeah. Needle pain hurts. It like zinged. It felt like a little electric shock went off of my arm. I was like, ah. Thank you for the hype train concluding. Thank you. Oh, and Roxy, hi girlfriend. Like, bro, I'm not a fucking child. Exactly. It's like, man, I'm 30 years old. I've been through so much like hospital shit. Come on, just shoot straight with me. Gamer, how you doing? How are you and your hand doing? We're getting to it. So after he finally gets all that painkiller in me, Neko, hi cutie. How you doing, Neko? I'm left alone. They just walk away. No indication of what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen. And I'm just sitting in this hospital bed in my undies and socks for some reason. Specifically, they said, all right, get undressed completely. You can leave your underwear and your socks on. Okay, weirdo. I guess you just don't want to see my cute feet. Whatever. You know, internet would pay for those. Gotta keep on the socks. Yeah, gotta keep on the socks. The socks say on during. Happy to see you recovering? Thank you. Cause it'd be cold. I don't know. They gave me a heated blanket, Jenna. I will say, they were very kind people there. I'm hyperbolizing a bit. They were such nice people. Like the doctor writing a little smiley face on my arm. They brought me a warm blanket. It was so cute. Drama time. So I'm sitting there for about 40 minutes and I'm slowly feeling my entire arm go like tingly numb. And as it goes, I'm realizing, holy shit, I can still feel my arm and feel things in my arm. It's just numb. So I go back. I'm finally getting wheeled back for the surgery, which, if you've never been wheeled in a bed before, oddly disconcerting, because you're just being pushed feet first through a hallway, and you're like, I am going to be cut open right now. They are pushing me towards the knife. And I get to the room. And there's like 5 people in there. They're all super kind, super nice. They're talking to me. They're asking me for the 17th time what my full name and date of birth is and what I have doing. And I finally get lifted up to the table and my arm goes out. And it's happening. This is not the kind of music I want right now. I love you, good kid. But that's not the kind of music I'm wanting right now. You know what? Let's do cozy Animal Crossing music. That might help. What a heated blanket. Oh yeah, Honeycomb. By the way, I don't think I asked. How are you doing, honey? Comb? I always like abbreviating people's names, but calling you honey that's what I call my wife. Excuse me, Honeycomb. That's what I call my wife. Surgery tables are fucking cold. Mine was actually pretty fine. They just used the same bed that they had wheeled me around in. It can be dangerous if you have warts or other things. Oh, I didn't even think about that, Roxy. That's a good point. I went to sleep with mine with 2 nerve blocks in my arm and shoulder. Ooh. My surgery was at least much less intense than that one. They're just pushing you like you're in one of those clone barracks pods. I hope they didn't clone me, gamer. Okay, pause the music. I don't think anyone would want to clone me. I have the worst genetics. It's like, hey, do you want a fat guy who's predisposition towards depression and anxiety, who also has a autoimmune illness? Do you want to clone him? Yeah, that's the best subject. Screw like LeBron James or something. Let's go with the Twitch streamer who can't walk very well. My feet are always cold normally. Oh, I see, Jenna. Luckily, I was fully under anesthetics within like 2 minutes of getting on the table. That's good. That's good. So I'm on the table. And I'm finally coming to terms with the fact that I'm going to be awake while I'm being cut open. But keep in mind, I don't really know what the surgery entails. I know they're making an incision and they're cutting my tendon to relieve pressure. That's all I really know. So as I'm being laid down in the bed, my arm goes out and they say to me, all right, we're going to make an incision in your arm, and then you're going to feel a little bit of pressure while we put in the camera. And I said, oh, okay. And they said, oh, don't worry, it'll be in your palm. So I'm now coming to terms with, while I'm laying on this table, that they're going to shove a camera in my arm through, like, into my palm, where they're then going to cut the tendon in here to relieve the pressure. And I'm panicking a bit. You live streaming this, right? Doc, you want to get the views? Raven, hello. It's not the genetics we clone you for, it's your amazing personality. So you clone the personality, Raven, and then put it in Michael Jordan's body? I don't know. Do you decide not to be able to see what they're doing during surgery? No, Kia. It's not that I didn't expect it, it's that I didn't know what to expect. So them putting the camera in makes sense. But my dumb brain was just like, I don't know what's going to happen in the surgery. They haven't told me. How are they going to do it? So when I hear they're going to put a camera in me, it becomes real. You know? Up until that point, I was just in the hospital. Now it's real. One last warning, chat. I am now going to discuss the surgery. One last warning. So they prop my arm up. They wrap it in a tourniquet that then suspends my arm in the air. My wrist is then locked in place and suspended in the air. So I'm laying down with my arm completely suspended. And then I don't feel a cut. And I'm like, okay, so no pain. That's great. I'm feeling good. But then I feel them insert the camera. And chat, I don't know if you've ever had something put into your body while you're awake. That was horrifying. And I mean that very literally. I was terrified of it. But do you know how I solved my terror, chat? Do you want to know how I looked this surgery in the eye and conquered my fear? By not looking at it and covering my entire face with a sheet. They're putting like a barrier over my arm before they do the cut, and they accidentally put it over my face. And they're like, okay, don't worry, we're gonna take that off of you in a second. And I went, no, leave it on. And they, excuse me? Excuse me, what do you mean leave it on? I'm like, this is helping. This is helping my anxiety. They're like, are you sure you want us to just leave your face covered? So I'm laying on this operating table with just like a blanket over my face the whole time. Literally hiding under the covers right now. It helped. It helped. It helped. I will say it helped. You can't argue with the results. I felt much more safe. I had my safety blanket. Holy shit, Spoopy McSpoop super chat. I don't even have an alert for that yet because I didn't even know I could do it. Spoopy, thank you for the 2 USD. You booped me. Thank you. I booped dad. I need to set up alerts. Goddamn, Spoopy. How you doing? Oh, it's Fat Cat. Oh shit. Fat Cat, oh my god. It's been so long, girlfriend. How are you doing? Oh my goodness, it's good to see you. Caught me off guard in the middle of my story. Thank you. Say out of mind. So true, so true. Maybe think of Lookism when Fat Guy's soul was transferred into a hot guy. Oh. Doc, make sure that let the viewers. Doc, before you cut me, make sure everyone knows I'm sponsored. I'm not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. I'm never gonna take a sponsorship from Raid. If I take a sponsorship from Raid Shadow Legends, leave. So to finish up the story, I'm on the table. They do the cut, and probably the most interesting feeling in the world happens. It feels like, warning, It feels like a wire is being pulled through my tendon. Like, have you ever seen people cut cheese and they use like a wire and they pull it through and it cuts the cheese really easy? Or like, you know, in a mafia movie where they garrote someone? It was like that. Like they wrapped 2 wires around my tendon and just sliced it. But that was it. That was the whole surgery. It took about 5 minutes. I spent more time waiting for my hand to be numb than I did in the operating room. So as that incision's made, they say, all right, we've done the incision. Now we're just gonna sew you up and you're all set. What? I will say I was incredibly happy about it. However, it was a out of body experience. Feeling that tension be relieved was rough. Goddamn. But that was my surgery. After that, I was able to drive myself home. I picked Amanda up from her work. We went home and she took care of me for the rest of the day. In terms of recovery time, the doctor says I should have normal faculties in my arm within 5-ish days, and that full recovery will be in a month. So until I have enough use in my arm, I cannot really play any games, which is why we're going to be transitioning from this little story time to some React. So I'm hoping that y'all will bear with me while we don't have a little bit of gaming content, and instead we just hang out, spend some time, and recover together. If you don't want to stick around for that, just make sure to come back when the gaming starts up again. But thank you for hearing my story. Oh, chat. How are we feeling today, y'all? Sorry about the surgery talk. It's all over. Flash, if you want to unpin that and let people know the surgery talk is done. All right, I'm gonna scroll up and look at chat. I know I missed a bunch of your messages while I was doing my story, but I didn't want to keep taking breaks. All right, so I'm gonna be reading past messages and responding to them. So bear with me a second. Okay. Dang, you guys are talking a lot. It's like you guys like me or something. Oh my gosh. I've had surgeries. My feet are always cold. We talked about that, Jenna. Yeah, with the socks. Oh, turned on the horror music. Yeah, it was a little bit of a tonal shift there, Roxy. I had to get fully on my table for my surgery, and it sucks. I have lots of people calling me Honeycomb Bee or Honeycomb, whatever makes you comfy. You make me comfy. How's that? Hello, Raven, as well. I think I said hello to you earlier, but I want to say another hello while I'm not in story mode. Cutting your tendon? Yep. It was rough, Roxy. It was a very rough experience, I will say. I'd rather have a camera in there than a doctor trying to do surgery by vibes and feel. Doctor, like, hey, man, so, like, I'm more of a, like, by feel doc. Like, I think of surgery more as an art than I do as science, you know? So, like, when I cut you open, I just kind of go by the vibe. Like, I don't want to do it by the book or anything. Oh, no. I did surgery on my thumb with a deli slicer. I don't know if you call that surgery more than butchery, Roxy. It's even on a slicer. Like, come on. Oh, and then Fat Cat came in chat. Fat Cat, it's so good to see you. It's been so long. Like a child tactic of hiding. Yep, no. Yeah, just pulling a blanket over my head, pretending I'm all safe. Oh, God. I beat Criterion Dungeons. I'm busy for a while. Well, I'm glad you're back here, Fat Cat. If I could watch and my body not react badly, I'd fucking do it, because medical stuff is so interesting. Really? Medical stuff always freaks me out, Roxy, but that might be coming from the fact that I had some bad experiences with the hospital when I was younger. That's fair. Get sponsored by Mountain Dew. Michael, I don't know if I could get sponsored by Mountain Dew. I don't think my stream's big enough yet. But how are you doing, Michael? How's YouTube treating you? I'm a mod now on Twitch, and I'm horny incarnate. So, I mean, Flash, you're not horny incarnate. You're just like one of the many faces of horny. So, chat as a collective is horny incarnate. And then each time a chatter kind of writes a horny message, a new face gets added to the horny wall of chat. And so it's a constantly rotating, like, deity of horny. you know? Although, speaking on the Mountain Dew for Final Fantasy, I am planning on checking my Walmart to see what we have, and I'm going to do a review of the Final Fantasy Mountain Dews that were released. I'm going to do a review of them. I don't know how many they're going to have. I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually do all of them, but for what I have available, I'm definitely going to see what they are. They were cutting out a thing on my finger. My body went into shock. Yeah. Live letter react? I'll probably do a live letter react as well. Today we're going to be reacting to something else though. In fact, I'm going to toss it up on stream now. We're going to be reacting to Final Fantasy Documentary Part 1 1.0. Since I am an Endwalker baby, I don't really know much about the history of Final Fantasy outside of what y'all have shared with me and what little videos I've watched. So this is going to be pretty cool for me to experience. Especially to people in my chat who don't know anything about Final Fantasy, this could be kind of cool. Elden Ring will have to wait. Yep, we're definitely going to do Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring is going to happen once my arm is at least somewhat healed to the point where I can play games, but not too much. When the big reward for Mog event this time was floor 100 in Palace. Ooh, yeah, Lef, I wanted to do that. I wanted to do it. Going to a graduation today, Neko. Hell yeah. I finished my current cleaning job on Wednesday, Honeycomb. Oh. So when you say you're finishing your current cleaning job, you're going to move on to the next one? Or do you have another thing lined up after that? Baka, I don't like you or anything. Ooh. Waiting for my download. Annie, how is that download going? I feel like the main hurdle in playing a video game shouldn't be downloading it, you know? Oh, just put up a JRPG of bottle Mountain Dew on the stream and wait for the bot to come to offer you a sponsorship. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll drink the Mountain Dew bottle, right? I'll then turn it into a necklace so that I always have a Mountain Dew bottle present. And my stream title will be, please hashtag Mountain Dew, please hashtag sponsor me, hashtag Final Fantasy 14 Mountain Dew. How's that sound? Looking for a better job, just getting somewhat temporary until I can figure out my adult thing down. I think I told you about this before, Honeycomb, but definitely once again look into doing a temp agency. If you don't remember what I'm talking about, feel free to message me. There aren't Final Fantasy dues, it's just Final Fantasy rewards that got added to existing Mountain Dew gaming promo. I mean, clickbait it, call them. It would be really cool since a lot of people weren't there for 1.0, myself included. Same gamer, I'm an Endwalker baby. You'll play any time to do it still. It won't reset anytime soon. That's good. That's good. I've cleaned my apartment before I leave bright and early for tomorrow. Oh my God, Neo. So if you don't know why I'm so excited, my mods, Svent and Neo, they are soon to be married and they are about to embark on a journey of love. Svent lives in Texas, Neo lives in Canada, and Svent is moving from Texas to live with Neo. And they're gonna visit me along the way, which is probably the cutest thing ever. And oh God, it's so soon. Man, y'all have been talking about this since we first met, and the fact that it's happening now it's like my heart is bursting. It's so cute. That sounds desperate? Michael, what do you mean desperate? Come on. I feel like when I joined the 14 fans, I want Picto to come out. Well, that's soon, Neko. That's soon. Canada wins in the end, right? Canada always winning. Except for, you know, some of their politics. But what can I say? I'm American. All right, chat. We are transitioning to our react portion of the stream. We are going to watch something that is the history of Final Fantasy. So if you are in my chat and you've been watching me play Final Fantasy and have no idea what it's about or anything about the game, this is going to be a learning experience for both of us. This is going to be the history of Final Fantasy 14 when it first came out. Hence from the no-clip documentary Final Fantasy 14 1.0. So I hope you're going to enjoy this with me, and I am going to enjoy learning about the history of Final Fantasy with y'all. So let's get started on it, y'all. Let's do it. No clip docu is so good. I've been told so many times I have to watch it. Like, this is going to be so great. The necklace? Oh, Michael Huff, what do you mean? The Mountain Dew necklace Come on, people will see the necklace and they'll go, wow, he's so dedicated. Don't you dare skip the intro music. I won't skip nothing. Gonna be honest, I'm not sure whether to continue Final Fantasy to help out Baby Fivers and Monster Hunter. I would say continue with Final Fantasy Gamer because the new expansion's coming out soon, and it's gonna be so much fun. Want to remove your face? You're covering so much of the video? That's so true. Maybe I'll move myself to the top right. This will probably block the least amount. I'll move chat with me. Boop. All right. And then let's make this smaller. Boop. And come on. Too many layers. I have too many layers. All right. Got back to work. Have fun. Fat Cat, it's so good to see you. Make sure to come back to the next stream. I miss you, girl. I miss you. All right. We're watching the documentary. Make sure you guys tell me if the volume is too loud, too quiet, and we're going to have some fun. Let's get into it. Flashbang. Oh, to enable subtitles. Okay, so they're telling me to do subtitles. So settings, subtitles, Japanese speakers only. Japanese speakers. Okay, there we go. But I need to head to my client for the evening tonight. Have a great day, Honeycomb. Oh, God, the music. Man, that's
Square is
so
very
iconic.
deep into the culture of Japan. Originally a spin-off from Masafumi Miyamoto's father's Powerline construction firm, for over 30 years its games have...
I'm sorry. I feel like I've already been blindsided. They were a power company?
helped power the rise of Japanese games development. There are no shortage of games that live under the Square Enix banner, but none as big as Final Fantasy. From our Western perspective, there's an air of mythos around the company. The accepted truth behind the series' title is that it was named Final Fantasy as it was Square's make-or-break game to avoid impending bankruptcy. And even if the real answer has more to...
I mean, to this day it is, right? Didn't Final Fantasy 14 literally carry Square Enix financially? Like, I thought, like, at least I remember this maybe in passing, but Final Fantasy 14's revenue that it generated was what allowed Square to stay afloat during the less good era.
to do is creating an acronym that could be pronounced by both Eastern and Western audiences. It's that first story that gets told. That's the legacy of this series. Stories about adventures that get passed from generation
1.0 didn't? Oh, no, not 1.0. Not 1.0. Oh, no. Not at all, not at all. A Realm Reborn ended after that. Don't worry.
to generation,
1.0.
as nearby as the arcades of Akihabara and as far as the playgrounds of Europe. As the Final Fantasy series has moved from numeral to numeral, there have been high points and low, but with each new game comes the promise of a new story, a new myth. The story of what happened with Final Fantasy XIV is one such myth. What we know about it comes from old reviews, archived message board threads, and through conversations with those who were there. The reason for this is that the original version of Final Fantasy XIV doesn't exist anymore. Unlike the vast majority of other old games, there is no way of playing it. It was redacted, painted over. Where once stood a game that threatened to sink the Final Fantasy brand forever, now stands the second most popular.
Oh, my girl Yugiri and Gosetsu. Man, Amanda has been playing through Stormblood, and I'm feeling feelings all over again, chat. I watched her, slight spoilers, I watched the scene with Gosetsu with the building collapsing on him, and man, God, Stormblood may not be the best expansion, but it still had so many good highlights. Oh.
popular subscription MMO in the world. And as the years pass us, the myth of that original version and its incredible redemption story are at risk of disappearing. How did it all happen? How did the same studio that shipped a broken mess turn it all around in 2 years? Why did they make the decision to keep the old version still alive while secretly working on a brand new game? And how did they manage to make all of this, the redesign and rebirth, part of the game's lore? We knew this was
I feel like Stormblood kind of suffered from the A and B plot with Doma and Alamigo. So it felt like they were just disjointed from each other until the end where everything kind of culminated. But it was kind of like, oh, I guess I'm done here and now I'm going to go do a different story that I'm basically starting. It's like you were reaching a climax and then you like went back to the beginning and started doing a second book. And then once the second book was close to finishing, both of the climaxes hit. So the ending was pretty great, but I felt like the middle of Stormblood kind of waffled a bit, you know?
a story worth telling, not only for those who were there to see it all go down, but for the millions of you who have never heard about this, who never knew the extraordinary lengths the development team went to save this game. So we did just that. Pack your bags, friends. NoClip is heading to Tokyo.
Well, yeah, Roxy, war's messy. I'm talking about narratively. A 3-part series. Oh. Wait, shit. Smoking's prohibited on this flight. Chat, I was hitting the stizzy. I guess that means I need to either stop smoking or I guess get off the flight entirely. That's unfortunate. I will not eat this. This is too expensive to eat. It's technically not smoking? What do you... I guess it's more water vapor than anything, but I mean, come on, it's smoking. Just like Boeing, well, the plane itself is smoking there, not you. The plane's on fire. My plane's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I like it, and I never get bored. Or wait, sorry, I, under no circumstances, believe that Boeing would cause any knowing damage to their planes, and I, for one, renounce anyone saying that Boeing is an evil company. Please don't assassinate me. Ha ha. Ooh, goddamn. Gollum. God damn. I watched every NoClip doc. Ooh. I just start watching more of it then, because already this doc feels so well produced. So I've been recommended this so many times since I started, playing Final Fantasy. Ooh. God, the cinematics. Yasha! How are you doing?
YouTubers, the funnier ones are with Numi.
Thank you. Actually, I did watch a couple of them, Yasha. How are you doing today? We're watching the Final Fantasy documentary. Thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate it. NoClip did such a good job. You recommended it too. You did, Roxy. You did. You're one of the reasons why I watch it. But thank you so much, Yasha. That should turn down slightly. Oh, Louisoix. That smile.
I've listened/watched this documentary over 10 times at this point. I love it.
I love you.
From my last day at work, Madiga 5, Lurk Madiga 5, Lurk Madiga 5.
And there's the other part of the dynamic duo. I was just telling y'all about Svent and Neo. There's the Texan that we love doing his last day of work. Oh, what a good boy. Sven, how are you doing, bud? Thank you for the 16 months. I'm so excited to see you, dude.
Hello and welcome to Shinjuku, Tokyo, home of Godzilla, restaurants full of dancing robots, and Square Enix, one of the most prolific video game companies in the world.
For the past few
He's such a
months,
good
I've been
boy.
playing
He is.
catch up with this story, playing the latest version of the
Ominously
game,
floating
talking
row.
to players, and watching community retrospective series like the Speakers Network's fantastic Fall and Rise of Final Fantasy XIV. My goal, to make sure we ask the right questions.
Well, Roxy, I want to do a little bit of both. I want chat to be able to talk to me, and I want to be able to, you know, watch the doc. So if I get something coming, I'll pause it so it doesn't interfere with the doc. But I also, I don't want to take away chat's voice.
When we sat down with the team during our time here in Shinjuku, we're going to talk to everyone from the engineers who worked on the original game to localization leads, community managers, and even the CEO of the company, all to allow them the
By the way, can we
leads,
just talk
community
about how good this man looks? I don't know if I should pause for this, but man, oh man, what a beautiful hairdo. And the stubble. Huh, God.
managers, and even the CEO of the company, all to allow them the opportunity to
Ex-CEO?
tell their
Yeah,
side of
ex-CEO.
this fascinating story.
The fall and rise of Final Fantasy XIV happened in real time in front of millions of people around the world. But we wanted to know about this story from an entirely new perspective, from inside the corporate machine that made it happen, that led to its terrible launch and ultimately its incredible rebirth.
Koji, if I remember correctly, Koji is the lead of the translation team, correct? And he's a big reason why we have such good translations and the puns that were injected into it. Because I think I've either seen some stuff about Koji before, or I've been told about him by y'all. But I remember Koji being the GOAT. Koji's what every lead wishes they were.
Koji Funks.
Middle names are very important in my family for the big reason that not only are they usually unique names, but they were used to instill fear. Let me put it to you this way, chat. My name is Madigan, middle name Decker. And whenever I did anything wrong, or whenever there was something that my mom needed to like scold me about, I would hear this. Decker. What is it? So I ended up growing up when my sister, my brother, and I would oftentimes just say each other's middle names to refer to us. So I was Decker, my sister was Walker, and my brother was Bean. Decker, but I hardly know her. Giggity. You gonna get decked? No. I'm going to deck her. Get it? Come on. But so middle names are it kind of ended up being like a secondary identity between my siblings and us, because I could say, hey Jackson, how are you, but saying what's up Bean feels so much nicer, you know. My parents would use the full name. Oh yeah. When you're like in trouble, it's like Madigan Decker last name. But when it's just kind of like a sharp like, hey, stop that, it's like Decker. Bean is not terrifying. No, Bean's not terrifying. My father was Catholic, so middle names were just Catholic and saint bullshit. Yep, that's like the tradition, right? It's like, and your middle name shall be Matthew. Why? Because Jesus. And Jesus, as we know, loved nepotism.
I guess the joke was. It wasn't as
Okay, so I've watched a lot of like Abroad in Japan or like Premiere 2, and man, this seems like every white guy who wants to go to Japan is like, yeah, I'll be an English teacher. And then they get there and go, oh God, this is so bad. I hate everything about it. Because they'll do some they'll like ship you off to a mountain town that has like no population and you just have to live there. It's, oof. If you want to go to Japan and teach English and that's your way in, then just be prepared that you probably won't be in like, Tokyo or Osaka or any of those places. You'll be in some like mountain town miles away from civilization. Man, it's awesome. He is awesome. Look at that smile.
Easy as I
What a
thought it was
good
going
boy.
to be, but I studied a couple years at a
Rural community. Oh, Keo, I'm not at all discounting the need for them. I'm saying that a lot of people have this ideal when they go there and to be prepared for what it will be. Because I feel like a lot of the Western people and their idea of, well, I'll go to Japan and live there and teach English. They're imagining these like, I'm going to be in Tokyo University teaching Tokyo children. But that's not what ends up happening. So 100% it's needed and beautiful work to do. And the people who stick with it are fantastic. It's about setting realistic expectations, I want to meet this man and shake his hand. Man, he's so cool. And before the jerk teacher in Persona 4.
university in America.
Or,
and transferred.
Wait, you mean I'm gonna have to make my own poll? Oh, what am I? What do we think I am, chat? A streamer that does his own work? Ugh. I have mods for Can. Koji. Dunk. Yes or no. All right, chat, let your voice be known. There's a poll if we think Koji can dunk.
Koji wasn't alone. Final Fantasy XIV was launched in 2010, but the story of this game starts 8 years earlier with the launch of Final Fantasy XI, Square's first MMO, the early days of online. Many of the team who worked on 14 started on 11. One of those was Kasuga-san, who joined the company in 1999 to build a network infrastructure for this fledgling MMO.
自分はネットワークとサーバー担当で入っていて、なので
Chat, do we want me to read the Japanese parts out loud? I probably should, just because a lot of people probably can't just sit there and read the subtitles. So I'm going to read the subtitles out loud so that people can know if they're not looking at the screen what's happening. No, this is not because I think that I can talk better than them. Specifically, I just want to make sure people who aren't staring at the screen can hear.
と 自分はネットワークとサーバー担当で入っていて、なので一番最初にやっていたのが、当時プレイステーション2で初めて厳密にはドリームキャストがその前にあるんですけれども、プレイステーションプラットフォームとしてはオンライン要素が入った初めての時期だったので、
I never had this growing up. I didn't even know that the PlayStation 2 had online. I don't know. This is like one of the first times I've heard of it.
プレイステーション2でネットワークを作るために、
Such as
TCP/IP のドライバーを作ったりとか、まだ当時モデム通信の時代だったので、PPP 通信とか、あと ADSL がちょうど普及し始めた時期だったので、ADSL の認証として使われた PPPoE とかっていうその本当にネットワークの下の部分、今だとあんまり誰も書かないようなところを書くっていう担当で入社してました。
So Final Fantasy 11 was the first time for Square to do an MMO on that scale. Oh God. All right, what are the results of the poll? The poll is over. All right, it has been decided overwhelmingly that Koji can in fact dunk 6-1. It's been decided. Our boy Koji is a dunk star. Michael Jordan, watch out. Does it mean Final Fantasy 11 is where the Warriors of Darkness are from, or would they be from Final Fantasy 14? You will know soon, gamer. I don't want to spoil. Might be worth just muting it and reading while they're speaking. Japanese, if you're going to read it to them talking. Okay.
あれだけの規模の、MMORPG 日本でやるってのはもう本当初めてだったんで。
And there are many different things.
いやもう正直いろんなことがありましたよ当時ね。この
I'm allowed to say more.
っていいのかな？言っちゃっていいの？OK なの？あ、いいんだ。
Looks at PR and laughs. But bro's like, hey, am I allowed to talk? Am I allowed to say these like secret things of Square Enix? But for the MMO titles overseas, there was Ultima Online,
どういうことがあったかというと、
which I never played,
まああの時は
and other different predecessors in the overseas market.
MMO とかね、海外だとウルティマとかそういった先行事例は。
But most of the games, if not all of them, were basically on PCs.
まあ基本的に PC ですよね。ところがだから今週末でや
So
るなん
coming
て。
up with the idea of having an MMO on a console was treated as something that was
この
almost
極みだと
impossible.
かってね、もうたくさんそういうふうに言われました。まあソニーさんが
As well, this was in the PS2 era with a hard disk, and there were
PS2 のハードディスク
so many different arguments that were going around that.
もう何台出すんだとか安藤が強そう。
Their perspective was that it was possible to do, so it was quite the challenge. I feel like the whole concept of Final Fantasy 11 and 14 is it's impossible to do, so we did it. I kind of love it.
そういうの吸ったもんだしていろんなことありましたんで、まあほとんどまあ不可能だとかでよく言われてましたよ実際には成功なんて。
11 was my first MMO. I hadn't played one before. I remember purchasing the PlayStation 2 broadband unit because they were all sold out. I ended up paying double on like some Yahoo auction or something like that.
Damn, Yahoo
Ridiculous,
auction.
but I had to play it.
Yahoo auction. Man, that is a dated sentence. Whew. And did you message them over AIM? I'm feeling so old, chat.
We got a new internet connection. We were on a regular modem at that time, but because we needed a new modem, we had to upgrade to ISDN 128. But yeah, it was definitely worth it. It was something that was completely new to me, but fascinating. And ever since then, I've been into MMOs.
I still remember Netscape. Thaja. That's a self-report if I've ever seen one, Thaja. Oh, take a lap. Oh, no. Hey, but don't trip. Don't trip and press your life alert. I say that in fear of how old I am.
That was the gateway drug for me, going in from FF11 and then trying, some of
drug
the
is a good way to refer to an MMO.
World of Warcraft, seeing the differences between the two.
Personally, I think it's very different. I mean, here in Japan from the Western market because, yeah, it is.
You're older than me. I know, Thaja. I know, and that's why it hurts.
It's for everyone in the globe. I mean, it's very first MMORPG on the console.
Was 11 turn-based?
2. And also, I mean, it was
probably
the
ATB
first ever
based.
cross-platform MMO between PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360. The obvious one is the most Japanese people don't very like to chat in public.
Right.
So, I mean, in the world, there's a lot of characters, but it's very quiet because people are using a tell instead of.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't considered that. Like culturally, it's probably a much quieter MMO because they all, yeah, like he's saying, they all just direct message each other. You don't have where my Warcraft head's at. People in all chat just spamming. Did you say Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker? Wow, I just heard someone say Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. And then the next person going, I cast Anal Fissure. Was it just a GCD, but just real-time ATB? I don't know. Sad dial-up noises. I've said this before. I've experienced dial-up, but not like in a way where I was using the computer. I was too young for it, but my grandfather was a pastor at a church, and the church Wi-Fi was dial-up. So I've heard the noise. I've been terrified of it, just like a generation of children being screamed at, but I never had to deal with the downsides of it. I was lucky enough to be born in an age where dial-up was not my problem. Baron's chat, baby, let's go.
But if you go to the Western world, game world, I mean, every single one is shouting around. So yeah, that's a huge difference.
You know, while in the West, you know, you have your EverQuests and you had your Ultima Onlines. In Japan, there was none of that. And then, so Final Fantasy XI was really one of the first MMOs in Japan. And so getting to work with basically the pioneers of the Japanese MMO was really exciting. On the other hand, I mean, you could also say that it was possibly kind of a curse in the sense that they were all, you know, doing their own thing. They had their vision of what an MMO should be and what a Japanese MMO should be. And then me, again, not having played an MMO before, getting on this team and thinking, okay, this is an MMO, and translating away and working in that project, I kind of, you know, started thinking, okay, this is what an MMO is, this is what an...
Interesting. So did they just do no research on outside sources due to their, like, pride or something? That seems interesting. Doc, we yapping, boys? Oh, we are yapping. This is about Absolute Virtue. This is the 1.0 documentary, like, going into the start of Final Fantasy and how it became A Realm Reborn. We were born the same year, and I had dial-up. I was also very poor, Rise, so we didn't get a computer until later in my life. Don't worry, Rise. I do not miss browsing the internet and having my search slow by dad calling for fucking pizza. Or like you go to print and it's like line by line.
MMOs. And then that one day I start playing WoW and it's like, oh.
Oh, I got you, Doc. I have seen that one. I did see that, Doc.
Between the
that was
two,
a good one.
And saying like, okay, what I thought was
the norm
if
I tried to go back to my first ever MMO.
Know, the grinding for 20 hours to go up one level,
chat. What's your first
and then
MMO?
only to have your level drop when you know, pull too many crabs and it kills you and you've lost 5 hours work. Like, I thought that was normal. And then you're like, well, that's not normal, is it? The Japanese base game, Final Fantasy XI, had already released, and they were working on the first expansion pack,
when I was
Rise of the Zalart. I was part of the team that was working.
First was Terra. Isn't Terra the one that was like a real-time combat, if I remember correctly? Like almost like a fighting game, right? I never got into it because I was already into Warcraft, but I remember Terra being like the new kid on the block.
To get the base game and Rise of Zalart all translated before the Japanese Rise of Zalart was finished, so we could all release at the same time.
Right. Did you get it on time?
I got it on time.
Having a level drop,
Eureka
says high.
Yet. That's...
Yeah, that was like a big staple of original MMOs, right? Like I remember EverQuest has that as a concept too, which is like you die and you lose levels, right? Because I feel like that was something that was kind of baked into the model back then. Old school RuneScape, fist bump, fist bump.
It's one thing I'm proud of.
Final Fantasy XI was a huge success for Square Enix. It established a concurrent user base of around 250,000 players for years. It was the most profitable Final Fantasy game ever, and at one stage was the 6th most popular game on all of Xbox Live. More than that, it established the Japanese style of MMO, and when the decision was made in 2005 to start work on a sequel, the new MMO was built around things that made 11 successful, focusing.
Can we just talk about the fact that the documentary was like focus on things that made it successful, and then immediately showed a picture of a cat girl. I mean, come on. That had to be intentional. That had to be an intentional gag.
Like most Final Fantasy games do, on beautiful graphics and an interesting battle system. This new game was to be directed and produced by the same duo that shipped 11, series veteran Hiromichi Tanaka
RuneScape?
and Nobuaki Komodo. Final Fantasy XIV was announced for Windows and PlayStation 3 in 2009. Behind the scenes, the development...
Speaking of chat, if you want to see me as a beautiful cat boy, we are only 17 subs away. So if we get 17 subs, I will wear cat ears for a whole week.
Team was struggling to put the pieces of its new world together.
Cat girls are required. True.
ファイナルファンタジー14のその最初のバージョンの、自分が見た時の一番大きな問題点、最終的にそれが問題だと考えているものっていうのは、最初のコンセプトとしてプランナーがスクリプトを書くことによってゲームを作っていこうで、
Of course, it's an advantage of utilizing scripts and that the game
点
designer
としては、プランナーが考えて自分たちで実装するんで、高速な開発ができる。要は、そうじゃないと。
can write the script and then is executed quickly.
基本的にはプランナーさんものを考えて。
This is above my head. I don't know nothing about game development.
開発者にエンジニアに相談して、
You have to talk with the
どう実装
engineer
す
to
るかを
talk
決め
about
て、で、
how the game is structured, or you don't have to debate
ゲームデザインをする人はそのどういうパラメ
the
ータをい
different
じりたい
parameters that have to be set if a script is used.
かとかを相談しながらエンジニアと話をしてものを作っていかなきゃいけないんですけれども、そこの部分に
So the majority of the game elements were built upon the usage of
関
scripts
して
that
スクリ
kind
プトを
of
導入すると自分で考えて自分で実現することができるようになるっていう発想で、ゲーム実装の大半がスクリプトで組まれて
automate
た
the
んですね。
process. Oh, interesting. So I'm going to make an assumption here, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong. So what seems to be being described is that the game designers were using preset packages of code that they can use as a shortcut instead of going through like an actual programming process. And because of that, it was not as optimized as it should have been.
でそのスク
The
リ
user
プト
interface was affected by
UI
this
の
as
問題もそうな
well.
んですけ
When
れ
those
ど
scripts
も
are
ゲーム
running.
も UI も基本的にはスクリプトで書かれていてでスクリプトを動かすエンジン側がかなり負荷が高いというか
Uses a lot of
CPU
CPU
をたくさん使わないと
resources.
動かない状態になっているんで、ち
Ooh,
ょっ
ooh.
とした何か
The usage is extremely high to just run these different scripts. Scripts are programmed level macros. Okay, so it's kind of like the game is it's trying to generate stuff from scratch every time. It seems like because each time you do an action, it's like starting over new.
何かをするだけでもゲーム内で少し何かをするだけでも
Sure, Final Fantasy, my
非
first
常
one,
に
last
CPU
thing
リ
about
ソ
that's
ースを
fair,
使
Rise.
うことになっていて、すぐに
Forum
サーバーが
online.
回るサイクルが遅くなっていくっていうことが問題として発生していました。
I missed that. I'm sorry. So if you try to execute something in game, it led to the service being slowed down
サーバーが回るサイクルが遅くなっていくっていうことが
because
問
it's
題
trying
と
to
して発生
execute
してい
these different scripts.
で結果としてその
And so whatever we
サー
try
バ
to
ーででき
do
るこ
would
と
lead to the slowdown of
あ
servers.
とゲームとしてサーバーで実現できるところは少ないですし
And then the load that was on those servers was just too heavy. So scripts are pretty much blueprints. It usually tells the game how an action is supposed to work or how a set piece can be interacted with. So it's just running multiple scripts at the same time, overwriting each other, and therefore causing the game to be a little bit laggy.
何かしようとすると負荷が上がっちゃうんで、じゃあそれを回避する
We could just not do anything robust or rich in terms of in-game
た
depiction.
めにどうしようとかっていうことで、結果的にそのゲーム内容としてリッチなものが実現できなくなっているっていうことが起きてましたね。で、
And interface-wise, a lot of it was being executed via
UI も
script.
スクリプトで組まれていたので、なんかちょっと処理するだけでも
So those were some of the
す
problems
ご
that
い
we
時
were
間がかか
facing.
るっていうような問題が発生していました。
Like I mentioned before, again, localization being in a position where we get to see all the parts come together first. We were some of the first to realize that, Houston, we have a problem. That type of situation. I mean, you had the battle team. They're like, yes, we have this great battle system, with stamina and these things that you can do. And then you had this story team. That, yes, we have this story. Oh, hey, we have these guild leads and all of these parts. And everyone was really, really proud of their parts. Look at this grass.
Man. Oh, the second the word pride is mentioned, I'm like, oh no, I see where this is going. Oh, so there's all these different teams creating the best possible thing they can create, each of them unable to recognize that they can't all fit together well because they're all so independently developed and none of them willing to budge because they've created some. Oh, separate teams. That's not good.
It's so beautiful. Look at this barrel. It's the most beautiful barrel ever to be, represented in graphical form.
It's got as many polygons as the character.
Yes.
Oh.
And all of those parts.
I'm not sure if you heard that, chat. There were as many polygons in the barrels as there were in the characters. Imagine trying to run that in a game where you're passing by 6-7 barrels and it has more polygons in it. And while this is happening, you're all running these individual script packages that are, oh no, this is a recipe for disaster. Mystic, how you doing? How's your day going, dude?
All of these teams, again, very, very proud of their work. I mean, the team was, put together with some of the best minds in Square Enix. You had people that were,
I think they had so many scripts for use probably overloading the servers.
Lead their own projects were all.
Oh, Flash, you bring up such a good point. Imagine trying to run this in 2010.
Come together, and it became a lot of just tiny little groups making something that was really great.
Mystic.
But once you put it together, it
How's my favorite
was kind
viewer?
of mess. And no one really knew that, except for localization and probably QA as well. And we're like, okay, we need to do something. But by then it was one of those, it's kind of too late to do anything. But for us, we would be looking at the text, and some of it, it wouldn't make sense, or it would just.
Wait. I know that character. That's Philomene, right? Is it the same one or is this a different one? That's my brain. Mother to the antecedent, whose name is. Why can I remember her name? Did the surgery take my faculties away? Did I lose my ability to remember things? Minfilia. I remember her name. It came to me. Minfilia. That's Minfilia's mom? Okay. So I'm correct then. I'm correct. It's the same Philomene. All right. Exciting things have happened today. Well, do tell, Doc.
For us, we would be looking at the text, and some of it, it wouldn't make sense, or it would just be very bland, and thinking, if there's any way to make this game better, what can we do? It's like, well, I can take this text and maybe add some more stuff into it, add some more flavor to it, and maybe that will
a lot of 1.0 carryover
distract people from the fact that the battle.
Yeah, because it's not an erasure. Because that's like the coolest thing about the A Realm Reborn is that it's not an erasure of the story. It's like a culmination of the story to start a new one. That's why it's so cool. Also known as bitch tits. Me too. I got my new channel profile. Ooh, hell yeah, Doc. You want to drop him in the art section? Hildebrand was 1.0 stuff, for example. Hildebrand's pre is, wow, I didn't know Hildebrand was on 1.0. That's kind of cool.
It's not that fun.
At a fundamental level, the piecemeal design of the game was causing problems. Graphics were inconsistent, while many elements of the world were copy and pasted ad nauseum. Some environmental objects had as many polygons and shaders as a character model. The battle system was just...
That means you can relax with us, Mystic.
Environmental objects had as many polygons and shaders as a character model. The battle system was just confusing. The game didn't have elements fundamental to most modern MMOs, things like jumping, auto attack, and the ability to interact with the map using a mouse. It had a system that nerfed hardcore players to make sure they didn't level up too fast. The UI was confusing. Crafting was incredibly complex, and
Reborn is a sequel? True, Michael. It's a sequel, not a remake. That's the best part about it. It's a Realm reborn, not a Realm remade. And that's the coolest part about it.
Took forever, and simply there just wasn't enough content. The closed beta wasn't going well. They needed more time to fix these problems, so the open beta was pushed back to within a month before launch. The team knew there were problems, and they were getting frustrated.
The whole point of an MMO is to sink your time into it, you know? It's built to be a world you can sink your teeth into and devote your time to. That's what the point of an MMO is. And to institute a system that it stops you from playing well is like, hey, you're playing too much and too well, so we're gonna nerf you. That's annoying. Oh, that was because there wasn't enough content. I think they bring it up eventually here as well. Okay, I mean even if they're doing it as a solution to that problem, it was not a good solution nor an elegant one. The tasks just discussed were done during the January 2010 to the actual release date of August.
2010年の1月から、実際にリリースされる 8月ぐらいまでの間にやっていたことで、ゲームが本当に良くないっていうのがこう。
When we took notice of the game not being good was ultimately when the beta started. Oh, that's not good. I feel like there should be an internal. I mean, I'm talking to a studio years and years in the past, obviously, but my thought process is you got to have an internal beta before you do an external one. Like, why announce a beta for a game that you haven't even internally beta?
みんなに認識されて自覚されていくっていうのは結局ベータが始まって製品版が始まってっていう。
Then when we went to the beta phase, and then more people were
8月9月
starting to notice that they were having a problem here. In actuality, the team's feeling was that before the release, before the beta started.
実際にはこうチーム内の意識としてもリリース
People were questioning whether or not we should even release the game. Oh, pretty sure the internal beta is just called an alpha. That makes sense. That makes so much sense, Kyo. Yeah, it is just called an alpha. True. But I mean, if you're like, I'm saying that once you are ready for beta stage, play the stage that the public is going to play enough to be like, okay, this is what we want to release as like, I mean, it's kind of like a demo at that point. Like, I know beta has become such a crazy thing nowadays, like beta, early access. But in reality, what it is a demo. You're demoing your game and using the feedback from the demo to make it better. And if you're going to release a essential demo of your game to your audience, you got to make sure internally that it's up to snuff, you know? Beta is from people not the dev team are testing it. True. Very true.
そのベータが始まる前から本当にこれを
What is the quality to release it to the world?
リリースしていいものかどうかっていう議論はある程度その
Of course not officially, but amongst developers.
チーム全体でオフィシャルであったわけではないですけれども、開発者の中ではやはりその
taking notice of it and delivering about it. Oof.
世に出していいクオリティかどうかっていうところは議論がありました。
When 1.0 was getting made, was the mentality that, oh, we're not like, that's like their thing and we have our very own successful thing over here, we're going to just make another one of those?
Right, and that's really what it felt like, is that we're going to continue doing what we did because it succeeded before, why wouldn't it succeed again? And
hubris.
Seeing that direction, them taking that direction, and knowing that, having worked on 11, that yes, they were very successful, seeing the success that they had with Final Fantasy XI, seeing these great creators, creating something that was, revolutionary. But then on the other hand, knowing that what they were doing was, but maybe that worked 6 or 7 years ago, but a lot of things have changed since then. And I think there was even one guy on the localization team that got to that point where he just got so frustrated that he just wrote this scathing mail and sent it out to the whole team.
Throw at everyone? No. That's like career suicide, writing an at everyone to the whole company, scathing email. Oh no. That must have felt cathartic in the moment, but damn, that's a power move. How's your arm feeling? It's feeling pretty good, Mystic. If you're interested in hearing the story of like how my arm's doing and my surgery, you can go to the YouTube channel and you can just rewind the VOD. I did like a whole section at the start talking about my surgery. Back in the day, betas weren't open. You had to apply to be... Oh, interesting. That's how you got into beta. It's completely different these days. I didn't know that. I never did beta testing for any games back in the day. So you had to like do an application for it. Oh. Well, that reframes my thought process on it. Thank you, Roxy.
Before telling anyone else on localization he was going to write it, and then we all
so
get
yeah,
it at the same time.
Everyone walk out the office, flick a cigar, the door as you leave, an inexplicable explosion happens behind you.
We're reading, it's like, wow, this is really terrible. I hope he doesn't, oh, he sent it to the whole team. Because he just got really frustrated because he could, to him, I mean, they were being very stubborn. They weren't, you know, they hadn't moved on. Whereas the rest of the world had moved on and adapted, you know, with the release of WoW and what they had done. Whereas, you know, the team here was like, no, we're going to stick with what we know, and that's good enough.
Then start feeling more concerning the situation. I mean, this is not fixed, not fixed, not fixed. Oh, then, oh, you announced the launch date, but it's not fixed. So, but still, some major portion of people are still thinking,
I was actually working at GameStop for the release of A Realm Reborn. And let me tell you something, people coming in to GameStop, picking that up and then having no idea what the fuck they had to do was kind of a problem. Like, they just saw it as a new Final Fantasy game when A Realm Reborn launched. They're like, oh, what is this? It's Final Fantasy. I'm going to pick it up. No one really understood that it was an MMO when they were buying it from me. And I had no idea what the game was about either, so I couldn't warn them. So I had a lot of people come back in trying to return it, but they couldn't because it was like digital download as well. So you couldn't just return the box. Like you'd already gotten an account with them. So there was just so many people trying to return A Realm Reborn that just were like, I didn't know what this was. I didn't know it was this kind of game. I thought it was new Final Fantasy. It was weird. It was very weird being in like a sales position for a physical disc MMO. You know, it was odd. Sends the email to entire company, connection terminated. No.
Believing, no, it's better, still better. Better phase, last phase, but still better. So it could be, I mean, fixed or changed at the launch timing. So.
It kind of went from thinking, okay, this project's going to be great, to, uh-oh, there might be some problems. Can we fix them? Can we fix them? Okay, we can't fix them. Is there anything we can do? I don't know. It was, yeah, it was a very taxing experience.
I mean, conceptually, that's kind of terrifying, right? It's like, for everyone outside, it's like watching a train wreck. For Koji and everyone else, it's being in the train wreck with no way to get to the conductor. Like, they are desperately trying what they can do on their side to try to make the train crash at least safe. But they can't change the fact that the train is crashing. It's like out of their hands entirely. That's terrifying. Being a part of that company, seeing the direction it's going, knowing what's going to happen, and being unable to change it. Oof. Oof. That's intense.
The team crossed their fingers.
The conductor has locked himself in his cabinet and is like, we're going in this direction, while the rest of the train is screaming at him, don't do it, we're gonna die. Aren't MMOs normally digitally released? Nowadays, yes, Mystic. Back in the days of the dawn of man, you would have to buy mostly physical copies, and you would download them. So, like, for example, here, let me see if I can pull it up. World of Warcraft came in like big old boxes. You know, I typed in WoW box, and I don't know why that didn't work. World of Warcraft. Can't type. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Back in the day, you would go to your store and you would see this box where you would go up. Let me see if I can. So you go up to your game counter and you would see this box. Your epic quest begins here. Blizzard Entertainment. And when you get home, you'd open it up and there would be like 6-7 CDs inside of it. CDs nuts. And with that, you would have to download each one individually. But like, Please insert next disc. Yep, there we go. There's another example of it right here. It was like a huge fold-out box where you get the CDs out of it, download 5 or 6 of them to the computer, and then you'd create your account. That's how MMOs used to be like. Well, not all of them. Obviously, there was like RuneScape or other browser sources, but like you would actually get physical copies. Oh, Terry, how you doing? They are now, but not then. Not back when downloading the full files for 100 gigabytes wasn't a viable thing for most people. Yep, the files would be stored on the CDs, and then you would be able to get them from there. There are 3 or 4 rather large downloads that you had to get to play Ragnarok online, and there's a thing that is all on dial-up. Oh no! I still have my Guild Wars 2, Star Trek Online, and Lord of the Rings disc. Terry, you gotta post a picture in the Discord. You have to show that off. I need to see those boxes. We are full of nostalgia right now. Please. I think I still see WoW boxes at There's no way. You still see WoW boxes at Walmart? But now they just have small cards to get a code? Oh, okay, that makes more sense. You get the installation files for the client on disk, and then the game content was handled online. Yep. Teams weren't even close to gigabytes back then. Maybe had 2 gigs for a game. Nowhere near 100 gigabytes back. Yeah, the games nowadays are so much bigger too. Posted in our channel. Thank you, Doc. Let me just check that out real quick. Okay, that's really cool. Oh, it's the Yu-Gi-Oh card. That's why Jinzo sounds so familiar. It's Jinzo. That's really good, Doc. I like that. All right, we'll get back into watching.
Fingers and hope that the game's beta.
I don't know. It was a very taxing experience.
The team crossed their fingers and hoped that the game's beta
Problems were simply that, the same issues that most MMOs have, ones that could be fixed with patches.
Annie got it? Let's go! Can we get some claps in chat for Annie? Annie has been trying for like a week to download Final Fantasy XIV. Let's go! Annie! Something that one XKCD comic about a truck full of hard drives being orders of magnitude better download speed than any existing internet connection. Interesting.
Once the game entered live operations. And so Final Fantasy XIV Online launched on September 30th, 2010. It sold well its first week, and after a month had over 600,000 players swarming into its world. But it didn't take long for the cracks to appear. The problems in the beta were echoed by new players. The game was sluggish, the servers crashed, and Eorzeans quickly ran out of things to do. Quests were limited and the fatigue system.
Chat, I need you all to point at me and tell me I'm bad. I need all of you to shame me here. I got so excited about Annie getting the game downloaded that I slammed my fist into the table. You know, the one I just had surgery on. Ow. That fucking hurt. That really hurt. God damn. Ah. Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. It's just pain. Ow. I will not shame you. You'll punish yourself. I guess fair, Blaze. I guess fair. Physical media is really fucking fast compared to downloading anything, but the downside is that you have to get the entire package all at once instead of being able to get the files at a consistent rate. Interesting. Such a bad boy. I'm such a bad boy, chat. I'm so bad. But I'm bad for you, chat. Wrap that fucking arm in towels, make it impervious. Just stick it in like a seclusion zone, like a bubble.
System even made grinding for XP next to impossible. Critics ate it.
You have it?
Too.
Yes, Annie.
Let's get right down to it. Unless you've got the patience of Job or some kind of masochist, you shouldn't.
GameSpot. Oh, I'm aging before my own eyes. It's like the scene in Indiana Jones where his skull just melts away from the arc. I'm just GameSpot, no.
play Final Fantasy XIV.
Iron Man.
Its problems
more like the boy in the bubble, Phaedra. More like the boy in the bubble.
So vast that I could spend hours talking about them. The awful interface, the recycled content, the stringent limits on questing, the useless maps, the stupid market ward. These issues and dozens more constantly have you asking that age-old question, what were they thinking?
Damn.
So, what was it like seeing public reaction?
Yeah, it was very, I mean, very disheartening.
Probably vindicating,
because
though. I mean, yes, it probably hurt so hard to hear this stuff, but it probably felt vindicating too. Like, see, we told you. We were right. It sucks. It sucks so bad that we were right, but we were right. Oh. The server that streamer boy Sven Neo are on is congested. Just make sure to make a character on Data Center Aether for good times. Yes. Make sure to go to Data Center Aether, not any of the other ones. Aether. Important. Last Crusade, when the guy ages to dust, you're true. You know what, Roxy? That's a way better analogy. In fact, everyone, welcome Roxy to the stage. Roxy's replacing me. Damn it.
You know, you'd want to look at those and you'd want to say, no, they don't understand. They don't know, what's going on here, or but deep down, you'd know they were right. And that was what kind of, that dagger in your heart, and it's twisting because
you're on Brynhild,
you want to
make
defend
a new character.
What you worked on. I mean, the people that I worked with are the greatest people. I mean, I still
we're not a cult.
Work
just
with
make
a
a new character.
I had worked with them before in FF11. I consider them not only coworkers but friends. But and then you see people online, bashing the work they did. And I know how hard they worked. I know how many hours they put.
Yeah, and Crystal's the RP of the world.
And I know that, like in the last 3 or 4 months, people were basically living at work, all putting their 100% into this.
You must never go there. All the light touches is yours, son. What about that shadowy area? That's Balmug. Stay the fuck away from Balmug. I am Diablos myself, but my account is down right now. Ooh, screwing with the whole Pandaria remix thing happening in WoW. I didn't even know there was a Pandaria remix. Hopefully it's going well.
It's a game that was, destined to kind of crash and burn. And then to have people online just say, oh, that sucks. This person is a piece of shit, or their work is terrible.
Ooh, Shenpai is really, I love Shenpai.
But it hurts more because if I was not here and was a user and had played that game, I probably would have said the same thing.
Yep. So at the time, I was CFO, but I did notice the biggest difference.
当時はね、私CFO やってたんで見てたんですけども、ローンチのタイミング
Between all the issues that happened around Final Fantasy
やっぱ一番大き
XI.
く違ったのは11の時のいろいろごたごたね。
Was versus the original 1.0 Final Fantasy 14 was it despite all the issues
ごたごた一番違うっていうのは11の時はいろいろごたごたあったけどゲー
that
ム
were
に
happening within Final Fantasy 11, the game was still fairly well received.
して言うとさすがに相当やっぱり相当程度やっぱり受け入れファン相当のやっぱり評価されたんですよね。
But of course, there were some operational issues surrounding
オペレーション上のねトラブルとかっていろいろ多分あるってこれ
Final Fantasy 11, and it was kind of expected for those problems to happen.
大変だったんですけれどもそれはあったんですけど
Well, yeah, you're really seeing a different environment. Makes sense.
非常に評価
But the game's content itself was going well received, and people were accepting. Did they put Absolute Virtue into 14 as well as a fun Easter egg? I don't know, Doc. So like a Diablo season, characters are locked to the Pandaria content and have modern... Oh. Interesting. That's kind of cool, Blaze. In NA, you can go to any NA data center. Same with EU and JP. True.
けれども前作の場合の一番やっぱ
Well, the Final Fantasy 14, the 1.0 version of it. What I felt was problematic was that the game itself was not regarded very well.
厳しいものだったということですね。これはちょっとやっぱり相当大丈夫かなというの。
It was actually received very poorly at and after launch. I felt really.
ローンチした後ね。
I really felt that sort of reaction.
やっぱりそこはね非常にリアルに感じましたね。 それはそうです
So you're not too far from the launch of the old Final Fantasy XIV.
ね。まあローンチして、まあしばらく経って、まあそんなに長い期間じゃなかったですね。そうしばらくなんでやっぱり
There was worry and concern within the company about can we continue doing this?
相当なこのままで大丈夫なのかっていう社内でも相当やっぱ議論ありましたからね。
I mean, the first few months was just an endless.
So in the Just Chatting channel, aren't I? Yeah, I'm in Just Chatting. I'm already in Just Chatting, Terry. We're reacting, we're watching, we're chatting. Don't worry, we're in the right spot. Am I interested in backstories in different games? Probably, yeah. If you have any like videos you could send that have cool, like, hey, this is how the game works. Picture? Yes, Terry, that'd be perfect.
The stream of translating apology.
Chat, so I'm dumb. Terry said so in the Just Chatting channel, and I thought they meant the category on Twitch, not the chat in my Discord. Feel free to point and laugh at me for my egg on my face. If I had an egg, I'd crack it. Sorry, Terry. Yes, anywhere either the cool. Oh, there you go. Put it in Just Chatting. There we go. So this is Terry's box art for their Star Trek Online. Ooh, damn. Ooh, damn. Oh, could be the pin? That's so funny. I love that. Oh, it's signed? That's so cool. Ooh. Yeah, that's how media used to be, man. That's how you used to get it. Physical. Get physical. While he is busy being shamed again. Yes, thank you for shouting out the Discord, Flash, and the YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube or don't know I'm streaming over there, check it out. And if you haven't joined the Discord, come join it. If you're looking for game lore, let me ask you, have you heard of the Falador Massacre? Oh, Doc, of course I have. Oh, Doc. We can't get into that. We're watching something else, but yes. Yeah, RuneScape's Falador Massacre. Oh, yeah.
Mails from, producers and directors and finding out, trying to figure out different ways of saying we're sorry, because the more you say it, the less weight it has. Mm-hmm. But Japan being a country where people apologize a lot, that's part of the culture. But then trying to translate that, it's like, okay, this is the 10th time I've said sorry in this one post, and then from the American myself, it's like, yeah, people are going to look at that as insincere. The more you apologize, the more.
So those physical collector's editions. Oh. Like physical CD, or like it's a physical collector's edition that comes with like a code? Because if it comes with a CD, that's kind of badass. Although, chat, this is actually an interesting question. How many of your computers have CD ports still? Because I feel like computers aren't shipped with CD ports anymore. Like, I don't have the ability to download from a CD on this computer. There's nowhere for me to stick it into. I guess I could like jam really hard into a USB port. That might work. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe next time I buy a game, I should get a physical CD and like crush it up and just dust it over the PC fan. See if that works. Mine, you have a built-in DVD Blu-ray on okay, so you specifically got it though. So you specifically wanted to get one. So did it not come factory with yours and you had to get it separate? My first MMO, I started to blog before the game came out. Devs caught wind of my blog and kindly sent me a collector's box. That is so cool, Terry. My computer has a Blu-ray disc drive. Ooh, okay. So it is more pervasive than I thought. You have a custom build. There we are. Chat, I have a question real quick. Who wants to see my dog? Because we haven't showed off the pup yet today on stream, and I think maybe we should get some dog on stream. Come here, Belle. Come here. Want a treat? Belle pup. There she is. You want a treat, Belle? Yeah. How's my cute little girl? How's my little Belle pup? Yeah. Come here. Oh, there she is. There's the girl. There's the little Belle. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, so chat. You see this nice little bandana she's got on? Isn't it cute? I was going through our clothes and I found one of her old bandanas, so we got her all dressed up for the spring. Yes, we did. Yes, we did, pup. Oh. She is so beautiful. Mwah. Puppy break. Ready? Can you speak? Yeah, shake it off. Speak. Good girl. Good girl, Val. Can you sit? Good girl. Wait. Okay. Get it. Oh, what a good puppy. I love that. The dog looks like the cat. Yeah, it is funny that we have both a black and white dog and a black and white cat. It is a good point, Michael. Although I will say, Michael, the dog we've had for a very long time. The cat is much more recent addition. Free dog? Free dog! Not only do you get free dog, I freed the dog. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to explain that to the team, but they're like, no, we have to apologize. Like, yes, you have to apologize, but and it just became, we weren't talking about the game anymore. We were talking about how to translate apologies, and it seemed like that lasted for, a couple months.
Actually, we see a huge drop. I mean, right after the launch timing, we got good number of the subscribers. Again, that fall. I mean, as you can imagine. So I mean, it was failure. And
what are you huhing me for, Neo? What did I even say? Why do I deserve a huh?
Now it's a failure, so we see lots of decline.
As mentioned earlier, the developers were already sort of skeptical, even at the beta. I love how dramatic the music is for this as well. Even the pre-beta phase, there were feelings that the game is very premature. It shouldn't have been released to the world at this state. Yeah. Oops. Before the launch, there was this sort of broad feeling that maybe it will resolve itself. Ooh, that's copium. That's huffing some serious copium. It's like, everything's bad, but maybe it won't be. Once it launched, maybe. Sort of like a glimpse of hope. We had nothing to back up this feeling. But we were hoping that it would all work out well once we launched the title. Something about freeing the dog and the way you said it made me, huh? Free the dog! Unleash the beast! That's for later? What does that mean, Flash? What is the implication there? What are you implying? What? But the magic didn't happen. Once released, our fears did come true. It was not ready to be released to the world. I think everybody already had that worry in their minds, somewhere in the back of their head. And it wasn't difficult for everybody to realize that there is some kind of fundamental issue that we need to resolve. So it wasn't difficult to convince the other team members that we were running into an issue here. Oh, the mute, that's so dramatic. The piano. Can we just talk about the production value of this documentary real quick? This is amazing. The audio design, the framing, the camera work. Whew. She's beyond adorable. She is. I love her. Actually, chat, I think this is a good point. We're going to take a small intermission. Everyone, we're going to do a Madigan self-care minute. If you don't know what that means, we're going to get up, do a stretch, get a drink, take care of yourself in any way you want. And while we're gone, I'll put on some music for you to listen to. And let me get something nice on. You know what? Let's get something intense. I'm feeling intense. JoJo music, the music to piss to. All right, chat, we're gonna be right back. If you're still in chat, make sure you're spamming. Enough. No more JoJo. No more JoJo. I'm taking it away. You can't have any more JoJo, chat. Starting off strong with some Sono Chino Sadame. All my dog appointments have been scheduled before DT's launch. Bro, that is both a smart idea and kind of crazy.
No, my JoJo. I want it back. Go away, streamer. Put the JoJo back on. I want a Sono Chino my Sadame, you know?
Hey, chat. It sounded like he said sodomy. Isn't that funny? Huh. All right. We're getting back to the Final Fantasy doc. No Nama. No JoJo. Oh, no. Streamer's taking everything from us. Oh. I should not have headbanged when I came back, chat. I'm going to tell you what. That was performative. That was not smart. Shoo. Crazy's gonna be the meal prep. But okay, wait, Flash. That just means that before Dawn Trail comes out, I should take a sponsorship for like Factor. That way my whole chat can meal prep before DT comes out. All right, did everyone get their snackies? Is everyone back to the computer? Do we have our drinkies? Are you ready to finish up watching? Ones in chat if we're ready. I want to see some ones. I want to make sure no one's missing out. Who's here? Who wants to watch some documentary time? Oh, I know I'm here. You know what? I'm one of you two, chat. I put a 1 in chat. All right, we got Gamer, we got Mystic. Yes. I'm never here. Keo, you're always here. You and Flash Fox are like the forever viewers. You know what? I will say, not when it's Baldur's Gate. You know what? I'll give you that, Keo. All right. Let's get started, y'all. We're picking up where we left off.
Today, Square Enix is based across multiple floors in a modern office complex in Shinjuku, Tokyo. It's a company that is often designing.
All right, so I'm gonna English major here for a bit, chat. Let me be a geek for a second and talk about how cool this is. So, this documentary is so well done, from the build up to this point right here, where we now know that the game is out. The whole team is coming to realize that the game is in fact a failure. And then the documentary wraps up this part of it with this musical sting. Tonally, we have now reached the bottom point. Beautiful use of sound. And then this transition. Hope. That little sting there, that guitar, is very hopeful compared to the last line. And going then to discussing, oh, don't worry, like the studio is still thriving. It's this big studio. It's like this tonal shift in narrative where we're just about to start going up. It's the ascension. And this is so well done. What a good documentary. I'm so glad y'all recommended this to me. God damn. I'm ethereal and essentially shifting. Am I here? Am I not? Was I ever here to begin with? Did I simply get bored because ADHD and wander away? Nobody knows. See, Blaze, when you go out into public, do you need like a leash so that you can't just wander off in the stores? I need to go on for Amanda. Like, I'll be walking with Amanda in the store. I'll look behind me and she's just gone. She's just gone. It's like, God damn it. Again. Seen it a billion times and it's still interesting to watch. This is masterful. I will say this is masterful, Terry.
Today, Square Enix is based across multiple floors in a modern office complex in Shinjuku, Tokyo. It's a company that is often designing multiple projects at once. And while Final Fantasy XIV was being developed, in another part of the building, a different game was being made. Produced by a Final Fantasy fan, his name, Naoki Yoshida.
一番最初は
Our Lord and Savior Yoshi P. He has arrived on screen. It's the man. Oh, yes. Yoshi P. First game I've ever... Oops. Sorry, Yoshi. The first game I have ever played was on the Japanese system. It's called the Family Computer. Famicom. Jesus himself has arrived. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. Mission Man looks spent during the live letter. Ooh. During break, he went to go out and chain smoke so hard. I mean, this close to DT, he's probably worked himself, but not even figuratively. He probably has literally worked himself to the bone. The man is a myth, a legend. Absolutely beautiful. You freeze on that frame? What do you mean? This is a great frame. The American Entertainment System, I believe, is called the Nintendo Entertainment System.
US だとエンターテインメントシステムかのマリオブラザーズ。
But the original Mario Brothers was the first I played. We actually we watched a different video of an interview about 16, and we learned that Mario Brothers was the first game he ever played, and it was the uniqueness of the two-player aspect, being able to mess with each other, that was so interesting to him.
最初にプレイしたゲームです。とにかくそのテレビの中、テレビっていうのはその見るものだと思っていた子供の時に。ところが
When I first got a chance to play with Mario Brothers and got
そのマリオブラザーズで初めてそのコントローラーを握ってゲームをプレイした時に、まずそもそも
That controller in my hand. I wish I was actually playing this at my friend's house.
テレビのものを自分が自由に動かせるってことがものすごいショック
Being able to move something that's on the TV screen using a controller.
友達の家でプレイさせてもらったんだけど、ものすごい興奮したの。
It was just shocking to me. I will say the first thing that shocked me like this, much smaller shock, was DVDs. Like when you put in a DVD and it loads it up on your TV, and then you're able to like navigate the menus, fast forward, rewind. Because I grew up with a VHS tape, and that, you know, you want to rewind it, you go up to the box and you press the rewind button, and then it takes forever to actually go through the tape. That my first like mind-blowing experience with technology was a DVD player where I was able to like, I don't know, click on Shrek with the remote or something. But just the process of being able to like skip, move around the menus, choose what parts of the movie to rewatch. Like, oh, this is embarrassing, chat. This is an embarrassing admission. This is so off topic, but Matrix 2. When I was a kid, my favorite thing to do with my DVD player in my room was to rewatch this fight scene over and over again with like Agent Smith and Neo showing off. I would chapter skip to this part where he starts doing this ridiculous fight. Little me upstairs watching Matrix 2 on my 19-inch CRT TV and just rewinding, watching Neo kick this guy's ass over and over again. It's you, it is you, Neo. Man. Goddamn. So that was my first moment of like technological like mind blowing when I was a kid. Remember seeing someone remade this scene with Mario characters and SNES graphics? Blaze, if you find that, send it to me, please. Please. I still remember messing around with the Hot Wheels interactables in the movies. That is an insane sentence, gamer. Goddamn. Goddamn. Leather was like 5 hours? God. First two movies were great. We don't talk about the third. Nope, we don't talk about it. I don't have the link in here. Blaze, there are no links allowed in my YouTube, but you can drop it in the cool vid section on my Discord. Because we had some people drop links that were very bad about a year ago, so people aren't allowed to put links in my stream anymore. Unfortunately, a bad apple spoiled the bunch. You know how it be. All right, let's rewind a second. I totally went off track right there. Sorry, Yoshi P. You were talking. What if we did talk about it though? Because the second and third movies are actually just one movie that needed to be watched at the same time. I agree with that sentiment, that splitting them up was a really dumb idea, and that the weird cliffhanger they left it off on. But I feel also like the culmination of the story in 3 was not a good climax. Especially with the conceptualization of humanity as a reoccurring system that is kind of like the messaging of it was fine, but also like the Neo as the Messiah was supposed to be subverted in the first two movies with the concept that there's been multiple the ones, but by the third one he literally is the Messiah, and it just, I don't know, it plays off like it's like a weak payoff for the movies for me. I don't know. You don't know what we're talking about? We're in the Matrix. We're talking about the Matrix. I don't know how I managed to do this. I'm sorry. We're so off topic. I can't talk about the Matrix anymore. I can't do it. And of course, another very impactful video game was Dragon Quest. Highway 35. I've not experienced that one. Well, tell us that spread the whole RPG genre in Japan. It's not about action or the back and forth of numbers. Very story driven. That was very impactful for me as well. So that kind of prompted me to focus in the RPG genre as well. Thank God. Thank God it did. And of course, the Final Fantasy that came out the following year. Thank you, Blaze. I appreciate you. After Dragon Quest took a more cinematic movie-like approach to depicting these pictures.
演出、ファンタジーをより強く打ち出したっていうところにもすごい衝撃を受けてたので、やっぱり僕の
Those
中で
two
ドラゴン
games, Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, are
クエスト
definitely
とファイナルファンタジー
year, one of my seniors had recommended to me Ultima Online.
ベータからプレイし、先輩にとにかく
And I joined in their beta, and so that would have been my first MMO game. Chat, are you at all interested in the concept of me playing other MMOs to try them out? Like the older ones, be like, I tried original EverQuest, or I tried Ultima Online. Is that something that you'd be interested in me trying out occasionally? Not as like main content. Main content would still be Final Fantasy 14, but have like a day like today where we're just yapping. We could try out Ultima Online or something like that.
すげえゲームあるって言われて
Do you want to D2 the best? I agree D2 is the best Diablo game.
初めて
I joined in their beta, so that would have been my first MMO game.
メモをプレイした作
And
品
that,
で
and
やっ
the
ぱり
third time I
同
received such a huge shock.
じようなその3回目の衝撃
Like
3000
Retro Friday or some such. That's a good idea. Yeah, it's like dedicated day of the week where we just play a retro style game. Doesn't even have to be MMO. It could be like any other like retro game that y'all recommend. I feel like it'd take too long to get past the introductory parts of the game to be worth it. It'd need to be multiple streams per game. Oh, I figure. Yeah, it wouldn't just be like, I play Ultima for one day. It would probably be like, we have a dedicated day of the week. You like, or something like that, where we try a game for, you know, a few weeks, then we transition to a different one. That might be a cool idea. Good luck trying to get those to work. I know some of those games have live private servers. Ooh.
人が同時に一つの世界
This time it's 3,000 people concurrently playing on the same game. That was a big impact to me as well.
で遊ぶ
Chrono Trigger, that's a good
っ
idea
ていう
too.
のがもうとてつもないまた衝撃でしたね。まあウルティマは
Ultima Online, especially in the early days, felt like a level of freedom was very big.
本当に自由度のウルティマオンラインは特にとにかく初期は自由度がめちゃくちゃ高いゲームだったので、そのいわゆるロードの称
Some
号を
players would have the title of Lord and be very gentlemanly like.
つけたそのなんて言ったらいいんだろうな、すごく紳士的なというか。
A sort of community leader type. Plus, I created a separate, completely evil character based Yoshi P.
コミュニティリーダー的プレイをするキャラクターと完全に悪のプレイヤーキラーをやる
That would kill other players. I played a lot as both.
キャラクターを2つ作ってどっちもものすごい遊んでたし、やっぱりその
And so, through Ultima Online, I was able to sort of study
ゲームがどう作られているのか、
what kind of like other engineering is required for an MMO type game.
どういったエンジニアリ
There's
ン
a
グが
lot of
必
the
要なのか
black
っていう
mage,
の
of
も
course. He plays evil characters.
ものすごいそこで勉強させてもらったと思います。もうその頃から
So yeah, around then, I think I was playing games on PC just as much as I was on console.
コンソール
And so I also looked into some FPS games and then also 3D MMOs.
してたし、でやっぱり
Bro's
そ
just
の
a
あたりで
gamer.
FPS もかなりプレイし始
Bro
め
is,
てたし、
Yoshi P is just a gamer. That's why he makes such a good game dev. He's a gamer. He plays games. He loves games. He understands games. Oh, man. Video game companies should not be led by business majors. Should not be led by people who don't play video games, you know? Why didn't we love him? Exactly why we love him.
のスタートであるエヴァ
EverQuest was one of them. I just got to tell you, it was
ク
very
エスト
difficult
そ
too.
の後プレイをし始めて、当時エヴァクエストのパッケージを日本で手に入れるのが本当に大変で、
Oh, I
出張
imagine.
で東京に行っ
I would travel to Tokyo on a business trip and I would go to Akihabara. That's so cute. I love that. I was sort of like a zombie trying to find it. Moving from store to store asking, do you have EverQuest? Do you have EverQuest? God, man, we love Yoshi P. What a fucking hero. God damn. Watching him triple weave with no problem during the live letter hurt my soul. With my ping, I'm barely able to double weave. Triple weave. I don't know what that means, Flash. What does triple weave mean? Unlike Sony, Death of Sony. Yeah, fuck Sony. Akihabara is detective. Oh, yes, Sven. Akihabara is detective district. Hey, I played Persona 5. I've been to Akihabara. Hey, maybe eventually, if this whole streaming thing works out, I'll be able to afford a trip to Japan in the future. Amanda and I would love to eventually get to go to Japan. It's like our dream vacation.
Yoshida-san would embark on a career in games that would eventually see him joining Square Enix to work on the Dragon Quest series. Though he wasn't working on the Final Fantasy team, he was part of the umbrella group that was allocating programmers to various projects. He didn't have granular visibility on FF14, but he knew the team was struggling. I asked from his perspective as a producer where he thought the game's problems were coming from.
Maybe at risk of being cut by corporate PR. Based.
カットされるのかもしれないけど、クリスタルツールズって呼ばれるミドルウェアを全社で。
It would be so funny if they kept the clip in up to that point and then immediately cut the clip. That would have been fantastic. A middleware by the name of Crystal Tools was in the process of being developed company-wide.
作ろうとしていたので、腕のいいプログラマーが
Even their
全部
tools
そ
when you
の
went after
チームに
Crystals. A lot of really talented programmers were pulled from
各なんだろう。ゲームラインから
all different projects and different lines. So many different projects were missing.
されて、そのメインプログラマーがみんないないっていう状態になってしまったので、どのプロジェクトもものすごい大変な時期だった。まあ、
To feel that this is one of the reasons that led to the failure of 1.0 as
オリジナル
well.
の14がああなった。
Maybe that's the reason they were relying so much on scripts was their programmers were just being taken away from them. So it's like, I guess we'll use scripts. The length of the GCD and the action locking on OGC means that you can only get 2 weaves between. We end up losing top time. Okay, so he's able to do 3 while y'all are able to do 2. So what you're saying is he's a god gamer, not just a gamer.
ってしまった理由の一つでもあるかなとは思いますけど、さらに2つ大きな問題がそこに絡まっていて、スクエアエニックス全体にプレイステーション2のジェネレーションで本当に世界一クオリティグラフィックスが
have produced games that were revolutionary with very high graphical quality. Nothing in this world will ever match the awe I felt at the intro cinematic to Final Fantasy X, with the Blitzball arena and Sin coming from the sky. So good. He's in fact a god gamer with God Ping, aka Giga God. He's unlocked all 8 gates and just going full on Super Saiyan. Let's go.
のクオリティが高い、そしてゲームエクスペリエンスがものすごく詰まったゲームっていうのをたくさんリリース
quality game experiences also that was regarded as perhaps the top of the line.
本当に
The work environment is insane in both the game industry and the anime movie. Oh, it's terrible. Burnout, galore, just making you work non-ending days. It's terrible.
こうなんていうんだろう、ある意味自信過剰にもなっていた時期で、自分たちが世界一。
We had that extraneous sort of confidence that, oh, we have the world's #1 graphics.
自分たちのグラフィックスこそが世界一。
And only we are able to accomplish that kind of quality.
だし、その作り方はその自分
And I felt that extremely large success had become sort of
たちにしかできない。だからなんだろう、でも超巨大な成功体験ってやっぱり足かせというかにもなる例だと思うんですけど、ものすごくおごってた。
I think we become very arrogant, very prideful. Isn't it kind of awesome that he's including himself in this? He's saying we here. He doesn't have to say we. He could just be like, yeah, the company was, or they were. No, he's including himself in it too. That's man, he really is Jesus, huh?
まあ悪い言い方をすればおごってた時期だったと思うんですね。まず 例えるとその刀を
Back then we had swordsmiths, artisans that make
作る
katanas.
刀匠のような職人たちが本当にたくさんいて、彼らが一つずつを手
We compare them to swordsmiths creating katanas one by hand.
作りで作って世界一のクオリティを作り上げていたんだ
They would create world-class quality, but meanwhile the world is
実は世界は、特に
developing technology so that they can cover that sword.
その北米を中心にテクノロジーでそれをカバーするっていうところを
Tedious manual labor through technology.
ずっと追求してきた
And so going back
時
to
期
the
で
gaming industry,
プ
once
レイステーション
PlayStation
3の
3
世代
came
に
out,
なった瞬間に
technology had finally caught up and were able to cover those tedious tasks.
テクノロジーの方がそれを上回るっていう時期が来たせいで
But Square Enix did not change our old methods of creating assets.
作り方を変えようとはしないし、だけどテクノロジーも
And then we didn't have the resources to catch up on the technology to cover
追
for
いつ
that
け
as
ない
well.
っていうことからさらにそれを知ってるはずのプログラマーたちは
And then the programmers, we knew that we had an issue that we needed to catch up.
ミドルウェアの制作に行ってるっていう状態で、でもグラフィックス作
Technology-wise,
って
we're
る
wrapped up in
その
creating
アーティストたち
middleware.
は自分
And of course, the artists are in that sort of artisan mindset,
たちの作り方こそが世界一だと思ってるので、古い作り方
thinking
で
that,
引
oh,
き
I
続
made the world's best graphics.
きものすごく負荷のかかるや
And
り方で
so it was a very laborious and time-consuming way of creating our assets.
アセットを作ってたので、もうそれらが絡まって
And I believe that is one of the large problems that we had in terms of the original
っていうのが
1.0.
もう一つの大きな、さっき2つあるって言っ
That's
た問題
base
の
mystic. You
一
should
つ目が
keep
それです
keep yelling it loud and proud.
もう一つはプライド
So the second problem relates to, of course, pride is very important, but with great success.
いついかなる時でもとても大切なものだとは思うんですけど、そこに
They
やっぱ
started
り
thinking
超
that
巨大
because they are great, they don't need to look
な
at
成
other
功体
games.
験をしたっていうこと自体が乗っかってきちゃうと、その
So say, for example, with an MMORPG, if you ask anybody who knows
自分たちの作るゲー
MMORPGs
ムこ
what
そが
it
ベ
is,
ストであって他をあんまり見る必要がないっていう時期でもあったんじゃないかなと思っていて、
the most well-known
例えば
MMORPG that you
当
know
時
has
世界
like 100 people. I mean,
多分
World of Warcraft.
MMORPG を
Back then, EverQuest, I guess, but like World of Warcraft. I mean, it's unfortunate that it's the most well-known one, but I mean, it was dominant for a reason.
知ってる人に
Yep, World of Warcraft.
世
Sure,
界最大
100
の
of people would say World of
MMORPG は何
Warcraft.
ですかって言ったら100人
But did the staff members play Warcraft? No, none of them were
聞いた
familiar
100
with
人
the
がワール
game.
ド・オブ・ウォークラフトって言ったはずなのに
Back then, WoW was undisputed king. We've thrown open those burning gates. Man, I started playing Warcraft technically at the end of Burning Crusade, where I tried it. Like I played a character that I created on my wife's account when we were 13. I guess girlfriend. But so that was my first ever experience with Warcraft. But I became a Wrath baby. I started playing when Wrath of the Lich King came out. And that was my first I played RuneScape as my first MMO, but that was my first 3D eat your life MMO that I got into. Some people may call Todd Howard God Howard, our Lord and Savior, but really it's Naoki Yoshida-sama. I'm gonna be polite here. I'm gonna couch my words in that Todd Howard has produced some amazing stuff. Todd Howard is not a good game developer nowadays. Even back then he wasn't. And I know this may get me a lot of upset people, but he doesn't know how to make games, especially nowadays. Every game he makes is just completely empty. Todd Howard's the greatest swindler of our time. He's very, very good at it. 100%. He hasn't produced a good game. If you're talking about, I loved Fallout New Vegas, I loved Fallout 3. You loved them because of Obsidian Studios, not because of Bethesda. You loved them because of Obsidian. GF then wife now, exactly.
誰もプレイしてない開発チームが
So I gave that example of World of Warcraft not because I wanted to talk about whether or
ワールド・オブ・ウォー
not
クラフトを知ってるか知ってないかっていう話だけの話をしてるんじゃなくて、その
the developers knew World of Warcraft or not, but I just wanted to point out
世の中に対して新しいそのビデオゲームをリリースしようとするとき
We need to look at
に
what
ライバル
would
に
be
な
our
るタイ
rival and what users are experiencing. What about Oblivion? Oh, no. Sorry. Oblivion, the studio, not Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls game. Oblivion Studio, or is it Oblivion Studios? I'm sorry, Obsidian, not Oblivion. Obsidian Studios. They are the people who basically made Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. They're broken off from Bethesda now, but they're the reason why they're so good. Like, God, they're so good. Like, The Outer Worlds was them, Pillars of Eternity, Deadfire, Tyranny. Like, they've made so many good games. Knights of the Old Republic. Like, come on. You like Elder Scrolls Oblivion? I don't remember which studio made that one, I will say. Fallout 3 wasn't Obsidian, New Vegas was? I thought it's... Oh, well, that's my mistake then, Flash. I thought 3 was Obsidian as well. I'm talking out my ass. Nest, how are you doing, buddy, over on YouTube? It's been so long, dude. Hi, Nest. Bethesda did. Fair enough. I think they made some good games that were good because of the storytelling and were at least interesting for the time period. But as the world moved away from that level of unpolished graphics and gameplay execution and coding, Bethesda just kept not improving with them, and nowadays they don't even have the talented story writers anymore. People hate New Vegas because they tried to play it like 3 instead of playing it on hardcore like it should have been. I mean, yeah. We need to look at we need to look at what would be our rival and what users are experiencing. In terms of latest gameplay experience. And I felt it was very unbelievable that no one was doing the research for titles. You're not an Obsidian Games fan. Their games aren't as deep as... Oh, really? You know, respect. I can shake hands on that, Roxy. I feel the opposite, but I just like... I'm kind of a Obsidian fanboy. But I can 100% respect that it's not for everyone. So let me give you a handshake, Roxy.
その感覚として僕には結構信じられない。なんでもっとみんなゲームプレイしないの？
Outside of your own, because you won't know where you are unless you look at other games.
だって自分たちが今どのあたりにいるか分かんなくなっちゃうよっていうのがまあ。
Final Fantasy XI, of course, there was great success on that title as well.
で特に14の場合に関してはもちろん Final Fantasy
That was actually based on a lot of the developers looking at EverQuest.
11の超巨大な成功体験っていうのが邪魔をしたっていうのもあるとは思うんだけど。
And they thoroughly looked at it and studied it and played it.
あの当時はエヴァークエストを徹底的にプレイをしてだからこそ
that sort of knowledge in order to make 11 such a
great
game.
を作ったはずなのに新しいレストランを
It's like if you're trying to open a new restaurant when you go in and you do absolutely no research.
オープンするときに隣にあるレストランがどんなメニューを出していて
on the surrounding competitors and open up a new restaurant, right?
どんなサービスをしてるかを知らずにレストラン作る回転させる人はいないんじゃないって。
So just at the launch stage then of 1.0.
I've heard about Bethesda being a bad studio. I feel like most big studios nowadays are kind of just bad studios. Like the gaming space and the crunch and the way they work their employees and the non-compete agreements, which were just, beautifully rescinded. The video game industry is incredibly predatory. These days, things they make are kind of meh.
What was the feeling?
We agree to disagree about our choice of games, but agree that games are good. And so long as we're both having fun playing our respective games, all's good. Hell yeah. Fucking just that based, Roxy.
Within Square Enix, the beta was quite close to launch. Were people anticipating that there would be negative feedback, or were they less aware that that was going to happen, I guess?
僕は他のチームにいて
I was on a different team, of course, but I was reading up on the internet.
すごくベータの評判が悪いっていうのはネットでニュース
The response to the beta was poor. And I mean, at the time, of course.
ただ多かれ少なかれ
Whenever an MMO launches, I know the internet gets up in arms.
のローンチは絶対に荒れやすい。サーバーがすぐ落ちる。
They try to complain about it. I mean, yeah, there's always like that first couple days of bitching. And then after those first couple days, when the dust settles, that's when you can kind of get more decent introspective comments about the game rather than just, I don't like it, you know? Gotta get going, Maddie. Have a good rest of stream. Neo, thank you for hanging. That was stupid. Thank you for hanging out. I love you, girl. And get that house ready for Sven. I want it spick and span, clean as a whistle, so that when my boy gets there, he can fuck it up. Have a great day, Neo. Someone get this man some towels. No, I don't want to be a bubble boy. Stop beating yourself up, Maddie. But physical comedy is part of what I do. It's part of my genre. I love physical comedy. The development team does do server stress tests. But of course the player wants to play it as soon as they can. So of course it is anticipated that server crashes and things like that. So I mean, I wasn't involved in the team, so I was looking at it from the outside perspective. But I was thinking that because it is the same team who worked on 11, so I thought it was just the consumers comparing to the high level of completion of Final Fantasy 11. And so I thought eventually that this sort of animosity would die down. You can be the physical comedy as a bubble. Just roll around, stream like a hamster. But coming from an insider perspective, there were apparently a number of people. Within the original development team that thought if we continued moving forward, this, we were in a very bad situation. The company, Square Enix, had turned around and told those people that, well, that's how it was for Final Fantasy XI's launch. We had missing functions that were a lot of negative feedback. But we're able to patch it up and fix it. The company decided to conclude the beta phase and then go into launch. This is information that I found out when I talked with an interviewer. Some of the development staff members after I had joined the project. But yeah, there were indeed people within the development team that did raise their voice that we were in a very bad situation. But the company had ultimately decided to move forward anyway.
Eventually, corporate realized that this wasn't the usual launch problem.
Nest! Again, in Twitch. Hey, I wish I could hang around longer, but I have to go get ready for work. Pizza Hut recently got a new meal deal, and it's been kind of busy. Oh, it sucks, Nest. Hey, thanks for coming by, Nest. It's really good to see you, dude. If you want to hit me up in my DMs, I'd love to chat again. It's been a while since we got to talk.
So they called on a few select members of the team to create a task force. This task force would research what changes the game needed and the resources the development environment would require to do the work. Members of that team would talk to Yoshida-san about their worries after hours. His thoughts were that the current organizational structure would need to be modified if the team was going to make the changes required. In October of 2010, Yoshida-san talked to the then Square Enix president Yoichi Wada and suggested they initiate a company-wide emergency to get the team the resources they needed. Wada-san spent a few days talking to the 14 development team about their concerns, and while a lot of the team had suggested that the current task force was in fact up to the task, some members of the 14 team had pleaded to have Yoshida-san join the project to help. And
so based. The people who are sitting there heads in the sand like, no, we got this. But the ones who are like, hey, we understand we need help. We're in over our heads. Yoshi P, save us. Yoshi P, lend us your power.
And so it transpired that in late November, corporate took the decision to remove Hiromichi Tanaka from the team and move Nobuaki Komodo from director to lead designer. Both of their vacant positions would be filled by Yoshida-san.
Both of the positions. Did you hear that, chat? Yoshida came in to save this game and is filling both of the lead positions himself.
At that time, he was leading a team that was working on an original IP for Square Enix. He was disappointed to leave that team, but excited for the opportunity to work on one of the company's crown jewels, a numbered Final Fantasy game. So, he got right to work.
So I believe there were 3 major points I had to accomplish with this. Sort of transition. Of course, the first being the top level we're going to be. Swapped out from the original team, and then our task force. That was said was going to be sort of like the lead. There would be a core team that was involved with the development. And because I was on the Dragon Quest side, I did not know these people on the development team. Of course, some of them I knew their names and faces, but I had not had a chance to work with those people, so it was literally just saying hello.
Say hello.
Hello. Hello. I'm here to absolutely revolutionize the industry. Hello. Nice to meet you. That was kind of like my beginning, and I told them that because I not work with you, so if you don't like what I do in my job, you're more than welcome to leave the team. God damn, fucking Yoshi P over here, like, comes in, waves hello, and then just goes, you don't like how I run this shit? You can leave. God damn. One day he will find someone to take one of his 2 titles. I doubt it. I doubt it. Please give me about 3 months to work together to see what we are like. If you're like me, fuck off. I think it's better than that. I think it's hi. I'm gonna change everything here, and if you can't keep up with it, then you can leave. I think that's what he's saying. Is like, I'm about to fuck this whole shit up, and if you can't be here with me while I do it, then you can leave. He's so cool. I'm gonna upend your life, right? What you were like, what I'm like, and that's the kind of talk that I delivered during my speech. I did mention to them that we were going to take this challenge on one more time. At the time, we didn't have any plans of A Realm Reborn just yet. But I did communicate that we're not going to give up on this project. We're still going to push through. Like, oh yes, I'm going to go and do this. And some people reacted, this is impossible. You're putting too much on us. Imagine the work hours. Oh, it's terrible. Koji and Soken in the background cheering Yoshi P. Koji and Soken are the bedrock that Yoshi P is able to stand on. Obviously, there's more. There's way more people that are like fantastic, but like those in the background, that like the writers that are just pillars of the community, and oh god, they have such a strong foundation for Yoshi to lead from. It's so beautiful. It's like, hey, we're changing things here. I'd ask if you could give it 3 months to see how it works, but if you can't handle it, you're free to leave. 100%. 100%. Fox as well. Yup, Roxy. Yup. Or some people just got frustrated because they did not like what was going on. So I think that was the kind of general reaction I got. There's a team member of the 14 sounding. Even now, Masayoshi Soken, the fucking GOAT, which I'm directly reading these subtitles here. It calls him the fucking GOAT. I don't care what it says on screen. I'm reading it. was there when I did the speech in a large hall to the development team.
2階のサウンドブースで僕のマイクの調整とかやって
Also was in charge of adjusting my microphone there. That's cute.
その素見があいつだけですよ。やり直
When I
す。
delivered that speech, he was the only one I can still clearly remember.
リベンジするぞって言ったらガッツポーズしてたの。
He was like, "Yes, I'm gonna do it." I was like, Sogen's work ethic, along with Yoshi's, is incredibly unhealthy, but incredibly beautiful at the same time. In addition to them, there was a prominent blogger named Matey that played a big part in lifting Yoshi's spirits during those hard times. He was actively posting about the game's potential, and there was a lovely documentary about them too. Can you DM me that, Sven?
今でも覚えてますよ。2階席でおっしゃーってやってたんであいつ。
I saw both reactions. I saw the, oh my God, we just went through a year of hell, and now he's asking us to go through a year and a half of hell.
The passion they have for the job is so good. 100%. Their passion is incredible. The things they do to themselves in name of that passion is not healthy. But I can respect them for doing it. Soken's like, hey, Yoshi P, I have cancer, but I want you to keep it secret. I'm going to keep working for the hospital. Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's like working on their passion to the point of the brink, to the edge even.
That might, be another failure because, no one had taken a game and rebuilt it in this manner before. So basically saying like, yeah, you just have to trust me. And,
oh, you did? Okay,
you
good,
could,
Sven.
Waste another...
Nice play. Hey, Terry, you got it.
Year and a half of your life, and it could be a failure, and, but you're going to have to believe me on this one. And so, yeah, a lot of people are like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know. And I can understand that because, again, it was a gamble. But then on the other hand, there were, a lot of us, myself included, but a lot of people on the team that were like, no,
Rebanak Germafencer. What is that name? Hi, I'm Rebanak Germafencer. Nice to meet you.
We worked so hard on this, and we did our jobs the best that we could, but for a lot of, reasons, some circumstances that were out of our control, decisions made by higher ups, decisions made by other teams that, affected our work, and nothing that we could do about it. But we had put our all into it, and we were invested in the project. We still believed in the project. To have someone on the outside come in, and not just come in to say,
he's
okay,
everywhere.
Forget it, we're just going to do it my way or the highway. He's like, he asked our opinions. He laid out a roadmap. He gave us a vision and a hope. And it, even though it seemed like it would be difficult to achieve, it didn't seem inconceivable.
Yoshi P knew there was no time to wait.
And that's the most beautiful thing about Yoshi P, is that he leads by example. He doesn't tell you to do shit that he wouldn't do. Yoshi P is the hardest worker. And he leads by example and leads by skill. He's not just a desk jockey telling you to do shit. He's in the trenches with you. And that's why I think he's so respected as well.
He worked with corporate to make sure the team had time off, both for them to relax, but also to give him time to build his new vision, to do research playing other MMOs, and to help draft his plan, to deliver the vision and how the team was going to do it. They had very little time to fix this game, so once they started, the specifications document would have to be watertight, and as captain of the ship, he needed to be able to answer every question the team may have. Quickly.
Yoshida-san.
Yoshi P is a leader. He doesn't just have the title, he is the title. Well put, Roxy. You get an A+ from your English teacher today.
He was now at the helm of his first Final Fantasy, and as an avid MMO fan, he was looking forward to getting in there and fixing it. What he couldn't have known at this stage was the scale of the job ahead of him, that no matter how much they patched Final Fantasy XIV Online, they couldn't ever fix it. What they'd have to do was something that no developer had ever done, to rebuild an entire MMO while the original version was still running.
I don't think that they realized immediately that it was something that couldn't be solved via patches. I think they still believe that, if we patch it, it'll be fine. And it wasn't until...
Can we just all agree that Koji has, this beautiful voice? I don't know how to describe it, but his voice is very calming. Like, if he read me a good night story, I could probably fall asleep to it. You know what I'm saying, chat? Some of y'all get me.
they reevaluated and then brought in, the new blood. Yoshida-san came in and told them, okay, yeah, this is not something that can be patched. If we want to fix this, we're going to have to take a drastic step.
Yoshida spent 7 weeks researching and returned with 2 options for corporate. It was then he realized that it would be impossible to convert the current game into an MMO.
Humor? Really?
MMO that could last the test of time. Ultimately, though, this was a decision that corporate had to make. So he returned with not 1, but 2 plans. Plan A and Plan B. During this meeting, he explained that Plan A would be to patch the game and make it more playable, but that ultimately the game would never really satisfy players, and though Square Enix may make their money back, the damage to the online brand would be catastrophic. And then there was Plan B.
Plan B was aptly patches to the current. Plan B was to apply patches to the current version of 14, but alongside that,
パッチを当ててできる限りポジティブに遊べるものにしながら裏で
In the background, we would build a completely new Final Fantasy XIV.
もう一度作り直すっていうのがプラン B でその話だけを聞くと
Of course, just listening to those 2 options, corporate would have been like,
そんなバカなってなるので当然どうやってそれを達成するか
What are you talking about? Trying to divide up your team?
チームを2つに分けてでどういった
I told them also because we had promised our fans we would release a
マネジメントスタイル
PS3
でそれを
version.
やるのかで大体発売時期はプレイステーション3版をリリースするっていうのが
We would need to launch this within the life cycle of the PS3.
プレイヤーとの約束だったのでプレイステーション
He's the guy responsible for all the puns in Fate and Quest names. I love the puns. The puns are some of the best part of translation. And the references, too. There's so many references to, like, literary works outside of the game. I love it. Koji is also part of the Primals as one of the lead singers. I love that. That is so good, Roxy. Yoshi knew the team's opinions mattered. Of course. Yoshi P is fantastic. PS3 version that died only at the launch of Stormblood. I mean, he got it out.
3の寿命が来る前にリリース
So we want to get the game out, if not by the end of 2012, then sometime within
2012
2013.
年年末から2013年中には絶対リリースできるこの
Of course, there was a very high risk, and we've never done it before in the games
計画
industry.
であればっていうプレゼンテーションをしてリスクは高いただ当然そ
On
んな
top of that, we're releasing it under the same title.
ことをしたことはない
Didn't have the power to carry the game? Oh, definitely not. I mean, that's what we're running into with PS4 right now. Aren't they retiring the PS4 version of Final Fantasy XIV soon? I keep hearing that they're going to retire it. I was on the boat that PS4 support should have ended with DT. Okay, so they are continuing with DT then. Maybe I was just hearing rumors. No? Okay, yeah, it's probably just rumors then.
それで作り直してるから成功うまくいったとしても
But
成
I
功
think
す
at
る
least by taking on this challenge, we'd get
ただ少なくともやっぱりファイナルファン
fans to realize that Final Fantasy is doing something crazy again.
タジーってクレイジーだねとかすごいことするねと
Something
か
really great.
少なくとも自分
And they will see our effort in trying to regain their
た
trust
ちがミスしたことを認めて
and trying to make good on the damage we had caused to the franchise.
信頼を取り戻そうとしたっていう努力は
So, that was my presentation to
くれてる
corporate.
人は多分見てくれるだろうだからどっちをチ
I was going to leave it up to them to decide on option A or option B.
ョイスするかは会社に任せるただどっちであっても全力でやるよっていう話をプレゼンテーションして
Of course, as you may already be aware, corporate did choose option B, and here we are today.
まあ結果的にはねプラン B でって言ってくれたんで今こうなってますけど
It's not being shelved yet, maybe for 8.0. Okay. We don't know how long soon, though. They'll shelf PS4 alongside Summoner's Res. They almost lost it in 7.0 during the live letter. He said, thought about it a lot and saying, for now. Interesting.
Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 was in a state of disarray. Square Enix had decided to suspend subscriptions to help ease the negativity around the game, while the PS3 version was indefinitely postponed. For the next 2 years, Yoshida-san and his team would work tirelessly on not one, but 2 MMOs, patching the original 1.0 to fans' expectations, while secretly working on a brand new version of Final Fantasy XIV. In our next episode, we focus on that 2-year period and tell the incredible story of the falling moon of Dalamud, the death of 1.0, and the birth of a new Eorzea.
Was funded by 4,399 patrons. Is this just the credits? There we go. That was part 1 of the No Clip documentary. That was I'll let this play in the background while I talk. That was absolutely fantastic. Holy I mean, we're gonna keep watching it, but not on this stream. We're getting about to the point where I need to log off, but that was amazing. Thank you guys for recommending this to me. I'm actually kind of dying to watch the next part, but that's gonna have to be tomorrow. It's gonna have to be on tomorrow's stream. We'll watch part 2. Oh, the production value of this, the editing, the interviews, the questions they asked. This was amazing. A 1-hour stream only? We've been streaming for 2 hours and 35 minutes. Roxy, I'll have you know. How dare? I have to be gentle to myself. My doctor said not a lot of streaming. But we will be live again tomorrow. And we'll be live at our normal time of 12 p.m. EST. What we're most likely going to do is yap for a bit, watch the rest of the No Clip documentary, and we'll see about maybe playing some 14. Not doing the deep dungeon yet, but we'll probably do some playing to get my crafting and gathering jobs up to start making my own potions. So I want to say thank you all for watching today. I had a lot of fun being back. I missed you all a lot. I'm sorry I was gone for a couple days, but surgery. Playing, sir, I was told that after 3 days, I should have normal functionality of my arm and my hand and just not to overdo it. So if I do something very light, like gathering and crafting, it should be fine. The only rough treatment to you during the stream was by you to you. Roxy, just because it's true doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Thank you for coming, though. I love you all bunches. I will see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to give one last thank you to everyone who subscribed today. Thank you for the resubscriptions. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for just being here. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye. Mwah, kisses. Bye. 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 I'm trying desperately to click over, but I'm being very gentle and stream.